All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Village of Royal Palm Beach Special Magistrate hearing for Wednesday, February 8th. My name is Doug McGibbon. I'm the Special Magistrate. As I like to say, if you have a code enforcement issue, you're in the right place. First thing I'm going to do is swear everyone in. We'll probably do this multiple times as strays come in later. Please, everyone who's going to talk, raise your right hand. Say, "I do," and we're done. Does everyone swear or affirm the testimony they're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay. All right. Most of our cases this evening are either going to be fine assessment or violation hearings. When you hear your name called, please go up to that other podium, identify yourself. The village will show you some documents, ask whether you object. They will put on their case. You can question their witnesses. You can put on your case, and then I get to make a decision. That flips when we get to the fine mitigation hearings. Those people have been through a violation hearing and a fine assessment hearing, and they are asking for relief, so they get to go first, and the village gets to go second. I think I've hit all the highlights. Please take it away, Village of Royal Palm Beach. Oh, one last thing. You may want to put your phones on silent. I really won't yell at you for it, but I had a lot of fun watching this lady try to dig her phone out of her shirt last meeting, so we're trying to avoid those type of situations. All right, so take it away, Village.
Thank you. Amity Barnard, Assistant Village Attorney. We're starting on the agenda on page 2, fine assessment hearings, top, case 22-1641, 11763 Balsam Drive, Ted Rex, LLC.
Dina Foley, Code Officer for the Village of Royal Palm Beach. We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, permit information. And I have actual service.
Okay, and I assume it worked because he's standing right there.
Yeah.
All right, sir, please tell us your name, and then they're going to show you some documents.
Sure. Alfonso Duque.
Okay, Alfonso Duque. And what is your relation to Ted Rex, LLC?
What is my what?
How are you tied to this property?
Oh, I own Tex Rex, and
Okay,
Tex Rex owns the property.
Okay, owner.
Okay, thank you.
What was your last name, sir?
Okay.
Duque.
Those documents I handed you are the exhibits the village would like to enter into evidence. Do you have any objection to those documents? There's a
Yes.
notice documents for tonight's hearing. And any objection, sir?
Yes. I've been.
Just to the documents. You can explain to the magistrate what's going on with the violation, but any objection to those pieces of paper that I handed you?
No.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, sir. Now you can proceed.
All right. You tell us about the case? Did I miss that?
She did. Do you want to
Okay.
repeat? Just
Oh,
remind him of
okay,
the
we
violation.
would like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, permit information. I have actual service.
I got the actual service part. I just missed the rest of it.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
All right. All right, so they're saying, according to the permit I see on this file, that we had I think a structural and another permit. What's an INTR? Interior?
This-
Interior permit in 2022, but I don't see anything other than a fence permit in 2002,
Right, and he needs a fence permit.
and you need a fence permit. So,
Yeah, I've been going back and forth with the contractor, and he's not following through.
okay, well,
He's not picking up my calls. I showed up at his office, and he doesn't have an office. He has like a call center, and then I think that's the only way I got through him. And so he texted me yesterday saying that he's going through with the permit for the fence. But I need more time so I can handle him.
okay.
And then, I mean, if someone needs to get fined, it's him.
Yeah, well,
He's
unfortunately, the only people who get fined are the owners of the property. If it's a tenant that does something wrong, or
Yeah,
if it's a
but, I
vendor,
mean,
if it's a vendor that
I'm
does
making-
something wrong.
I'm making the house looking better.
Oh,
you know?
no,
Royal
there-
Palm looks better. And then
There's
I'm
no
getting
question
fined.
about that, but The only problem is the code enforcement is not set up to trap or run down vendors. It's only goes against really the property owner. So if you have a tenant that's a problem, the property owner still gets tagged. If you have someone who's supposed to do something and they don't. All right, my confusion here is I have this on the fine assessment side. Is this just a copy of the order here?
Yeah, this is a fine assessment hearing. Your previous order from January required compliance by 2/6. It's still not complied, so we're asking for a fine of $50 and continuing because it's not in compliance as of today.
Yeah, okay, so you were here at the last hearing.
I was, sir.
He was.
And we gave you, or they gave you, I signed a February 8th compliance date, and you don't have it.
Correct.
And now I'm here at the point of, what do I do now? I mean, the
more
time
time.
to ask for more time was last time, and you probably got some time
Give him more
last
time.
time.
I'm gonna be more aggressive with this guy
Well,
because he already got his money.
well,
The trouble is, it was written in October, the violation. So now we're in February, and there's not even a permit in.
It's
So
like, I'm at a point where I had a violation order, there was a specific date, the action hasn't happened, and the next thing I can do is an order, finding a fine. Now, you can come back later, because we do have a set of hearings in the back where you ask for a reduction of the fine, and you can tell me what efforts you did to get the contractor to do it. But you need to start keeping track of these things. You need to write down phone call dates. You need to.
Oh, I have everything on my
No,
phone.
and you want to make sure you do emails
can-
and stuff, so when you come back for the
I can
fine
make a
read-
log for you if you.
No, well, you're going to do that for the next hearing. But right now, we're stuck at this hearing, and it's going to be an order finding fine.
assessing fine, correct.
Order assessing fine because date's passed. So,
And again, we won't, if you bring back assuming you get complied and you come back to fine mitigation hearing, we won't oppose mitigation, but we just need to make sure that you are diligently pursuing your
So,
contractor to
yeah,
get
you're
this
going to get a
done.
fine, but what she's saying is if you go get your contractor in gear and you make him do it, then they'll reduce the fine to a smaller level, probably the extent of their cost, because this is a current situation. So one of the best things you can rub in front of your fence contractor's face is, here's an order saying I'm getting nailed for $50 a day because you wouldn't do the permit, get it done. Maybe that'll help. But you'll be back before me for a fine mitigation hearing.
And it's just for the record, it's $25 a day, so 2 days, $50 and continuing.
Okay, so it's $25 a day.
His contractor called today, actually.
Cool.
Spoke with him on the phone earlier today, and he called right after you called. I didn't speak to him, but I seen his name on the caller ID.
So
So
good.
something that you said to him must have gotten through to him, because he did call us, but he
Okay.
has to follow through with the corrections that he needs to upload.
All right, so you're going to get a copy of a fine order. Just make sure you give him a copy of that too, and say, look, I'm getting fined. I don't want this to happen.
Yeah.
And then you're going to come back
been
for a minute.
texting him. I said, hey, I'm getting fined after the.
Yeah,
February 6th.
Yeah, well, now you're going to text him and say, I just went to the meeting. I heard you made a phone call, but I'm still getting fined. Get it done. Okay? And when you get it done, tell someone at the code enforcement part that your permit's been issued so they can stop it. Because I don't know if you guys go to lunch together or whatever. All I know is building dumps a whole bunch of files on them. So if you get that permit, call Hunter or call Dina and let them know. That way they can look it up on their computer, stop the fine, and then you can come in for a fine reduction hearing. Okay? All right. Order assessing fine is granted. $50
Thank you.
plus
Thank you, sir.
continuing. Thank you
Next.
for showing up.
Next case is 22-1752, 123 Ponce de Leon Street, SFR 2012, 1 Florida LLC.
We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, permit information.
Okay. And you are?
Dilma Melendez, the property manager for the owner.
All right. Could you give me your first name, please? I got the Melendez part.
Excuse me?
First name?
Dilma, D-I-L-M-A.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, those documents I handed you are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence. Do you have any objection to those documents? They're the notice documents for tonight's hearing. The previous order finding violation. Any objection?
No, it's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, admitted without objection. You have a signed green card, you have service.
This one again, your previous order from January required compliance by 1/26. It remains in violation, so we're asking a fine of $325 a day. It's been 13 days and continuing.
Okay. Get it permitted, please. I
The
mean,
thing is, we have a certified plumber dealing with this, and he's telling me one thing, and then when I call the city or the code enforcement office, they say no, he haven't complied, and we go back and forth with him. I was talking to Mrs. Heron today over the phone, and he's still with the pending document to finally do the permits, and he was talking with her over the phone, and he claimed that he will send whatever is missing. That is, I believe, is just one document.
well, the last thing I show on this property as a permit is a roof permit in 2004. So if they're
No, but
applying,
we have a BLD 10-5-19.
Who were you speaking to?
Heron, this afternoon.
Aaron?
Aaron.
oh, that's close, not.
And I spoke this morning and this afternoon, and I also talked to both of them, the plumber and her, and she said, you better go to the hearing because he haven't complied.
Okay, so,
Yeah, he just sent it back today. They're waiting for specification sheets for the
The
water
inspection
heater.
sheet is missing, yes.
But this has been since December 14th that it was sitting. He just sent it back today.
This,
he may
I-
be a certified plumber, but he's not the best at paperwork.
that you're totally true.
Okay, so where I am, all I can do is start the fine assessment order. As soon as you get the permit, make sure you call code enforcement to stop the fine.
Yeah.
Okay. 325 plus continuing is granted.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Does she have more, or are we just gonna run
No.
through? Okay.
22-1415, same page, 276 Las Palmas Street, Leda A. and Orlando Perez Jr.
Okay.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, the AS 400 permit information.
Yes.
And this case was Margaret Hancock's.
Okay. So we have a signed green card, so you have service.
Your
You can
name, sir, for the
proceed.
record?
Orlando Perez, I'm the homeowner.
Very good, sir. Thank you. Those documents I just handed you are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence. Do you have any objection to those documents?
No, no objection.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, so they say that there's been a slab poured without a permit. The last permit I see on the property is a dock in 2011. So, I don't
This
see
is the same thing. It's been out for 13 days, so we're asking for a fine of $325 and continuing.
All right, sir, your turn.
How are you, sir? Thank you for the attention. I've been attempting to process this permit forever. The issue that the number one issue that created it was I needed an up-to-date land survey. I hired a company, cost me $500. They disappeared on me. I informed Margaret of my situation. She was understood. I hired yet another one. They claimed that COVID couldn't send anyone out. I finally hired a third one. All this time, I've always brought it into the attention that my intent is to process this permit. I finally got it together and I submitted it in. Suffice to say, the timing was a little off. I misunderstood the nomenclature as far as getting this the first time. I provided landscaping design towards the front of the property. I did not realize they wanted both front and back. So I made that correction 3 or 4 days ago. This is only a $75 permit. It's not that I did not want to process it. It was always my intent. But unfortunately, I've lost a lot of money and wasted a lot of time trying to do the right thing here.
Okay.
And I only asked for a little understanding. It wasn't for a lack of me not wanting to process this permit.
Okay. Well, I think, well, they're talking. I'll let them finish.
I understand also there was also some smaller stuff that I needed to do, tear out the,
Yeah, we're not worried about that.
oh, okay,
No, we don't only, I only deal with what's before me, and everything else is just,
understood, sir.
So this permit's kind of like in the stage of if we were doing paper permits and you walked in and you handed the paperwork, they would hand it back to you and tell you to come back. So, it hasn't even been accepted yet. It's still what they call a BLD number.
they've just got a BLD number, they really don't have anything in the system? Is that what
So
you're
it's not
telling
a complete application.
It's not a complete application yet.
me? Okay, well, and what are we missing? Can you tell?
So,
Well, the
He-
permit was submitted back in June of last year.
yeah, it sat with him for quite a while. I think that's when you said you were getting your survey, right?
Yes, I
Um,
lost several survey contractors. that
Couple
failed
surveyors
miserably.
later, yeah.
Yeah. And then, so now it's just waiting for some corrections, like as far as landscaping, and it looks like you just resubmitted them. So
Yes, I didn't understand the nomenclature. I did the landscaping to the front where the pavers were designed. I did not realize that they wanted it backyard as well.
So
So I
it's-
submitted those in and made the correction.
it's just waiting to be looked at again by the reviewer.
Okay, so he's like most of the way through half of the process, right? He's not quite to the issued permit stage
No,
yet.
he's not
Not
to
even to
accepted
the permit
application
yet.
Not even,
yet.
his
He's
application's not.
almost to
To
getting the
apply.
application accepted,
In the pre-screen.
to then
Right.
go in through planning review and building review.
All right, well, you'll be here with Mr. Duque later on the fine
I'm-
reduction hearing, because right now, I've just got an order saying you had to do this by X date. You'll be able to tell me at the fine reduction hearing and bring in your cancel checks from your surveyors that screwed you over, and then I'll take all that into consideration when we're looking at your phone,
Thank you, sir.
okay?
So is there
320
anything I need to do now?
Yeah, 325 plus continuing is granted. Try to get all the information in so they can hopefully be at least accepting of the permit, if not issuing it. Usually it takes a couple weeks to issue a permit.
Right. So just make sure that you're checking your email because they'll be reviewing this. And if there's anything lacking, they're going to send an email out to you right away on that.
Is there any fine I need to pay now?
No.
No,
Just
If this is your property, really, the fine doesn't matter for purposes
Yeah.
of legality. We're just at the point in the process where I got to go from A to B, and then you're going to get B fixed, and then you're going to come to C, which is the fine reduction hearing. Okay?
Thank you. I think
I've got most of your story,
Yeah, no,
but I'm just at the wrong place to say, oh, that's fine.
Yeah, it's not for the lack of being
No,
compliant.
no, I mean, if you've tried in June, and you're going to show me, but bring back when you come for the reduction hearing,
Yes, sir.
copies of whatever checks or whatever transfers you made to this company and that company to show me that it was
Yeah.
out of your control that you were trying.
Yes, sir.
Because all I ask is people that try. Okay?
Trust me, not for the lack of a
Yeah,
better.
you don't want to be here any more than anyone else
So
sitting in this room.
I'm sorry, one more time. I'm going to get text now as far as what the procedures are.
you'll get an order in the mail from tonight's hearing, which will tell you what's happening. But then when you get complied, contact code enforcement so you can request
Yeah,
mitigation.
you're looking for an email from the building department to tell you
No.
that you're either completed or that they need more things to get your application to the place where it can be reviewed.
right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good
Thank you, Mr. Perez.
Staying on the same page, 22-1474, 1068 Concert Way, Lewis Robinson.
This again is Margaret Hancock's case. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, pictures.
Okay, you have signed green card, or, yeah, you have a signed green card, you're good. You have service. You can go.
Your name, sir?
My name is Lewis Robinson Jr. I'm here on behalf of my dad, who is Lewis Robinson Sr.
Okay.
My dad cannot be here because he can no longer handle his business affairs. My dad has dementia. He does not live at the property any longer. He hasn't been living at that property for about 6 months, and I have been trying to upkeep the property since he left. I did clear out the grass on the sidewalk, and in the driveway. I cleared out some of the grass, but the house is currently being sold. So I'm here to help him from getting fined because I told him about the hearing, but because of his condition, he doesn't understand that he has to come to court. So I decided to come on his behalf.
No, that's good. Do we know what he has left to do on this property?
Well,
I see the planter type areas up next to the house are still a little ragged.
yeah, the planting areas are still, and it looks like there's grass growing all up in the fence.
Yeah.
And the pavers need to be sprayed. There's grass growing in between those.
All right.
She still had the sidewalk stained. It does look like you trimmed the grass from the sidewalk. It was growing out. It kind of looks like it's growing over.
I know. I've been doing my best. Nobody
Okay.
lives at the house. I live in Port St. Lucie, actually.
I
I
understand.
come to the house 2 or 3 times a week and clean up and try to
All right.
keep the yard in presentable shape. But I can't do it all by myself.
I understand. I just thought that you had said that you had done it, so you're in the process of doing
I
it. is
did
what you're
some.
saying.
I
Okay,
did
got
some.
you.
But like I say, the house is currently being sold.
Yeah, well, the house is being sold, and someone's going to end up picking up this violation fine assessment order, but you want to get it stopped, so. Okay. All right, the condition still exists on the property. That's the problem. You need some good weed eater time to just take everything down. If you look at, is the picture up on the
It's on,
screen?
yeah, the picture's on the
It's on
screen.
the screen.
Yeah, you've got all those weeds in the fence. You've got all those weeds around the Hawaiian Thai plants. I used to have them.
Sir, is there a contract on the property, or is it for sale? Is it under contract?
It's a long story. One of my relatives is trying to do a 30-day payoff on the house, but he just got the statement from the mortgage company on Friday of last week. But there's some issues that's preventing the process from going forward.
Okay, well, I think the best thing, well, you need just to get a good day or two out there just to clear this thing out so you can call code enforcement and they can stop the fine from going.
I will come back, and I will go back to the house. I was there today. I was there yesterday. I was there twice last week. I will go back, and I will clear out the grass around the fence and try to do something about the front. I cut the backyard
You
last.
cut the grass and that's all
Yeah, I
fine.
cut-
It's just, it's still in violation because of all the grass in the planting areas.
I understand,
And
sir.
planting areas that's my wife's job. She's the weed puller of the family.
Yeah.
And it's a pain in the weeds out there to keep all this stuff up,
I have
especially
my own. I
if
have
you're
my
in
own
Port St.
house.
Lucie.
you
Yeah.
know, I have my own house and my own business, but I'm trying to help my dad so he don't get fined.
Yeah,
you know.
well, unfortunately, we're at the point where we're going to get fined, but the question is, what can you do to stop the fine?
What we would ask,
Hold it, no, we're-
yeah, what we would ask is to set a new compliance date of March 6th. But we would ask that if it's not complied by that time frame, that you retroactively assess the fine
Okay.
as of the previous order.
Here's what they're offering you. They're going to say you now have not February 8th or whatever the date was, but March 6th.
February, it was actually January 26th.
January something, whatever. You now have till March 6th to get it done, everything done, so there won't be a fine. But if it's not done by March 6th, the fines are going to start in February.
I'll make sure it gets
Well,
done.
start
It'll
in the
be
January.
from
January
January
27th.
27th.
Right.
Okay, so you've just gotten a reprieve. Use it well.
I'll make sure it gets done by March 6th.
Well, the best thing in the world for you to do is get it done in the next couple of weeks and have it just,
Yes.
because that way they'll do an affidavit of compliance and you will be done with the process, at least for a little while, and just try to keep up on it or have someone hire a lawn crew or something, whatever you need to do to take care of it.
I'll get it done. I'll make sure it gets done.
All right, 3/6 is a new compliance date. If it's not complied by March 6th, the fine date starts in January at the appropriate date.
At the
I'm-
same $25 a day fine.
At $25
And then
a
we need
day.
the March 8th fine assessment hearing if necessary.
Okay.
I have a question. If the house is sold, before the next court date, can I bring the closing papers to show that?
No. If the house is sold before the next court date, they need to get it fixed so they don't get fined.
So typically what happens is they do a title search on a property when they're selling it, unless the buyer's gonna pay cash. And our violation will pop up, and that's gonna prevent the sale on the property. Title companies have a hard time if something's in violation, even if there's not a recorded lien.
Okay.
So
You want it,
you just wanna have it in compliance before they actually sell it, whether it's the relative that does it or you.
I'll make sure it gets done.
Yeah.
I'll make sure it gets done before it's sold.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next case, please.
Page 3, sort of the middle, 22-1343 Sparrow Drive, Leah D. and Trevor G. Johnston.
Okay.
Did I get that case back?
All right, please tell us who you are.
Leah Johnston?
I'm Trevor Johnston.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I'll go back. Sorry.
Okay. This also is Margaret's case. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation and the affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, the AS 400 permit printout. Oh, yes, I did.
All right, service via posting. You have service, you can proceed. Oh, we've got an affidavit of compliance. Very nice. Okay.
Those documents I handed you, do you have any objection to those documents?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. So,
This one, your previous order, special magistrate required compliance by 126. They complied 2/3, so it's been out for 7 days. That fine would be 175, but we'd like to hear from the respondents.
your turn.
Our turn. So we intended to have this permit. We paid for it on 10/4, as you can see in the documentation. And I honestly just didn't hit a complete button on Project Docs and received no email notification that I hadn't done that. I can show you on my phone where I received an email in, going through the review process, and we were going back and forth, and then it stopped after I paid for the permit, and then restarted once I found out that there was a missing piece of me not pushing the complete button after I had paid for the permit. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
It's just,
So my intent was always to pay, long before we were in,
Everyone,
delinquency. I did pay. I paid for the permit. I thought I had done it. I thought we were done. And now here we are. So I'm sorry. But the permit is done. I have
no,
the permit.
no, you have an affidavit of compliance in the file. It's just 7 day late
Correct.
at $175. And
Right.
we're going to see what the village wants to do with that.
We would not oppose there being an order assessing no fine. I do
Granted.
need to put on the record that there is still additional costs to be incurred by the village even after we leave here tonight, but we would not object to that.
So they're saying bye.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Fine is-
night.
Appreciate you guys.
No
Thank
fine
you.
is granted because you tried, but yeah. No
Thank you
fine is
very
fine.
much.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
Next
Next.
one on the agenda, 21-0963, 980 Crestwood Boulevard, Lennar Homes. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over one, Special Magistrate, the one above it. 22. Oh, okay, perfect. 22-1579, sorry. 104 Granada Street, Borlos Devoted Care LLC.
Okay.
How did that get
This also is Margaret Hancock's case. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, the previous order finding violation. an affidavit of service, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, AS 400 information.
All right, service by posting is service. You can proceed.
Your name for the record, ma'am?
Marta Sano,
Spell your last name.
Sanon.
Your first name was Marta?
Yes.
Thank you. And your relation, are you the owner?
Yes.
Okay. Those documents I handed you are the village's exhibits that we'd like to enter into the record. Do you have any objection to those documents? The papers I handed you, those are the notice documents for tonight's hearing and the previous order. Do you have any objection to those documents?
Yes. I don't really hear what you said.
Do you have any objection to those documents?
No.
Okay,
All right, admitted
thank you.
without objection. All right, so we have a permit that has expired. Which one is this? This is, oh, the stucco thing. All right, so you have a stucco permit that's expired or not granted because you need a contractor because it's not a homestead property. So if you were a homeowner, like a lot of these people, and the property was under your name, you could apply for a owner-builder permit. But because it's not under a person's name and it's not homestead, it's basically a non-homestead property, and you have to get a contractor to do this. Okay, and
You have one. And I already have the building number. We met last week. So he already submitted the permit.
well, we'll find out. What is your building number? Or do we?
The whole thing is this permit has to be closed out or renewed.
So, yeah, we're here because the permit's expired. We're here because the permit's expired, so your contractor can do a change of contractor and renew this permit.
He wouldn't have to do a whole new permit.
He doesn't have to do a whole new one. He just needs to submit for a change of contractor
All right, so your contractor needs to do a change of contractor form
and a permit extension
and
form.
a permit extension form and pay what? What's the fee?
50% of the original permit
And
fee.
pay 50% of the original permit
But
fee, whatever that
A
was.
change of contractor is $100.
Okay, so I'm just
So
trying
it'll
to get
be
her.
that and then the renewal fee.
So you have to have the $100 for the change of contractor and the renewal fee for the permit, and then you will get a permit issued in the final stop. Is that
Right.
correct?
Otherwise, what'll happen is you wait for him to get his permit, and then you have to come in and administratively close this one.
So
2 ways to do it, but
you want to do it the easy way, and the easy way is just to get a change of contractor form and renew the permit, right?
yeah, because all the
Because
information's
you
already
had
submitted.
a permit that was bad because, well,
The permit was approved.
It was
Sure.
approved.
it
When
was
I-
approved, but it expired because the time was gone. It's usually 180 days.
Right.
With an inspection, and there was no inspection within the 180 days, so the permit lapsed. Now, if you're going to get it done and stay out of trouble, you need to get the contractor changed and then the permit renewed. And once the permit's renewed, that stops your fine with the building department or with code enforcement. You're back in the building department world. Am I right?
So what happened to this one, to this code that you already submit the application last 2 weeks? You already submit an application.
Do you
this
have a
is in
number?
What is
Yes.
the number?
10833.
10833.
So the one that he did submit is waiting to be paid for.
So now at this point, you have 2 open permits for the same thing. So,
Well, if he pays for the permit, will they issue the permit?
yeah, but it'll go through a review, so her fine's gonna run a couple more days.
Or a
And
couple
then she
more
can
weeks,
come in and
depending.
administratively close this
The
permit.
other one.
Well, it's going to run either way, right, starting today.
Yeah, so she could do either.
Okay, you either have to get your,
I would like to continue with that one, with that building.
With that building
Yeah.
permit. So they're not gonna let you administratively close this permit yet because the work was done. So you're gonna have to wait till that permit is issued,
Right.
and then you can administratively close this permit. And you can come in and fill out that paperwork or email that in.
All right, but there's still gonna be a fine running for a little while until that's done.
This is the same thing, 13 days, so 325 and continuing.
Okay.
You look like you're not sure of what I said.
I'm not really sure. 'Cause
Okay.
All right,
we're
you're gonna call her.
Do you have my
Yeah.
business card,
Yeah.
Hunter? I'm gonna give you
Have
my
it.
card because I want you to understand what's going on,
Yeah.
to see what works best for you.
So call her tomorrow or the next day, and she will be able to explain this to you. So, yeah, we're trying to get you the fastest way through the process to set, so you get the least amount of fines.
Oh.
That's what, and you have two different ways to do it, but
Yes.
you probably need a little bit more individual attention than the group, so.
Yeah.
You'll call her later.
So,
All right, so
I'll be in
325
at
plus
8.
continuing
So,
Thank you.
is granted, and she'll call to see what she can do to get out of it.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, then we go down to Lennar Homes.
No, they're not actually here.
Oh, okay. Then
Now
we're
to
going to
page-
something else.
Yeah, page 4, 22-1691, 1213 and 1241 North State Road 7, Village Shops LLC.
All right.
It's right here.
Okay. So the code section was 15, or I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, I just took a couple of pictures. So the trees have not been replaced yet on the property, which is why I just took a couple of pictures. There's quite a few trees, but we'll hear from the respondent.
All right. Well, you're going to show up some documents, right?
Yeah, your name for the record, ma'am?
Lily Vassallo,
Spell your last name?
Vasallo.
I would have given you 2 S's, but it's okay.
Sometimes.
And what's
Alright.
your relation to the
Property
property?
manager.
Thank you, ma'am. Those documents I handed you are the exhibits the village would like to enter into evidence. Do you have any objection to those documents?
No.
Thank you.
All right. So we have service via signed green card. So we have trees and shrubs that are still missing that were probably on a site plan and required to be there. So
Yeah.
pretty much the story on these shopping centers.
So we had talked about the mitigation of the specimen trees that were done. So I don't know exactly what they had planned, if they're putting them back out, if
We
you've had
are.
that.
We have a contract that was signed 12/20, so we're just having a little bit of trouble finding the specimens, the right specimens, and we've been in contact with George Missimer in order to get approval on a 2-inch caliper instead of a 2.5 on the Laurel Oaks. And that's the only thing that we have pending. As soon as he signs off on that, we get the trees and get them installed.
Okay.
So, so we're at fine assessment, but it hopefully won't take long. Is that where I see myself?
Yeah, we are at fine assessment. Your previous order was from December, and it required compliance by February 7th. So we're asking for a fine of $250 a day to start running from today.
I normally don't do 250.
Do you have the, did George tell you that you were going to have to do a landscape modification to add the additional 28 trees? You have 35 that are missing, and then they have to add an additional 28.
No, he did not say that. We have the contract for the 35, but he didn't say anything about the 28.
Oh, yes. So did you get the landscape compliance letter from George?
Yes, I have it here.
Okay.
And the
yeah.
35 are listed there, which is what we're going with.
As well as an additional 28 to fulfill the specimen tree mitigation requirements. So when you remove a specimen tree in raw palm, you have to replace it at the ratio that's in the schedule. And it can be 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1. So some of your trees were specimen trees, and that's why you said there was an additional 28 trees that were needed to be replaced.
So even if we're going back to the site plan, the original site plan, you want us to do 63 trees? instead of the 35?
Yeah.
Okay, and tell her what a specimen tree is for the audience and everybody else. Is it a larger, older?
Yeah, well, a specimen
Mature
tree
tree.
we have a list of specific trees which qualify that could be specimen trees. And when they get to a certain size, then they're considered specimen trees. Because what people like to do is when trees get bigger, they like to just remove them and then put in small trees again. And that's really why this is in the ordinance.
In the code the way
It's
it
to
is.
try to deter that because the village
Because-
wants tree canopy.
Yeah, because the village wants canopy and they want shade and they want life, and property owners of commercial properties want visibility, and they would love to have nothing in the way of their signs on their buildings, and there's the conflict. So once you chop down the overly large, mature trees, you don't get to put back skinny little trees because they aren't going to grow. You're going to get to put
They
back
will
a whole
grow. It
bunch.
takes a long time for them
Yeah,
to grow.
you're going to get to put back a whole bunch of trees to replace the specimen trees you cut down without permission. Now, if y'all would have gone through and asked for a vegetative removal permit, you probably could have negotiated some of these tree replacements, but you didn't. You just removed them. So you get to replace them, and then you get to replace more of them because of the age and the size and the type of tree.
Right.
See?
Now, is
I get
Georgia
this.
gonna let me know where to do the other 28? I just
Well,
don't
you're
know.
going to have to
Well,
put
that's
it
why
on
I
a
was
plan
asking
somewhere.
you, because at the last hearing, I was telling you that you weren't in compliance until you added or had the plan to add the additional trees or paid into the tree bank if you don't have room on the property.
So can we pay for the 28 trees, like a fine or something, or?
Well, you can pay, the additional trees, I would assume.
There's a mitigated amount, but
That George, she'll need to work with the
Yeah,
landscape
That's something you have to
consultant.
work with. And-
George does that
But
because
he
it's
did not
based.
mention anything. I've been in numerous calls with him.
No, you have to, so he did the compliance letter, which tells you that you have 35 trees, and it actually lists out what the trees are. And then underneath the 35 trees in here, he also says that you need to plant an additional 28 trees. So then if you're not able to plant the 28 trees, then you would contact him and ask him for those additional
Okay.
solutions. And then he would go over what the mitigation could be for that.
Okay.
Because there's a whole formula
All right,
in which
so,
they do.
all right, now that I've been educated in the process, $250 a day doesn't sound that horrible if they're whacking out 35 trees, including
And the
big
village
old
has
trees.
a very protective tree preservation ordinance for a reason. So that,
Yep.
like you say, we
So-
don't ask for larger fines unless there's a justification for it.
So I find this to be justified. I mean, y'all got your visibility, it's just gonna be at a cost. So $250 a day starting when?
Starting today, so it was out of compliance for your order required compliance by yesterday, so 1 day and continuing at it'd be a fine of $250 and continuing.
Okay. You better find some trees and or pay some trees off.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. At least we're getting into violations now.
Yes, now we're going to violation hearings, page 5, 22-1851, 161
Oh, that's me. Hold on.
Bilbeos Street, Annette and Carmelo Vargas.
Hi there. Okay, and you are?
Carmelo Vargas.
Thank you, sir. All right, we have no one to testify.
Just give
That's
us 1
good.
second, sir, thank you.
Zoom, zoom.
Okay, this is also Margaret Hancock's case. The code section is 2318B3 and 15132. The description is parking on the lawn and swale has bare areas. This violation was written on 12/7/2022. It was sent certified mail on 12/9/2022, and it was signed for on 12/16/2022. The notice of violation, or the notice of hearing was sent out on 1/13/23, and it was signed for but not dated. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
All right. Signed green card is service. You can proceed.
Sir, those documents I handed to you, those are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence, the notice of violation, notice of hearing, verification of ownership, and photos which are on the screen. Do you have any objection to those documents?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Picture says it all, right? Got a car parked up next to the white fence next to the house.
Yes.
And you've got bare spots in the swale, probably where the car used to be parked, killing the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really a
When-
parking
when it
spot.
rain- when
It's
it
not really a
rain-
parking spot, is it?
No, I have parking. It was just that day.
Oh. Okay. It says it's just that day, so if you go back by there, it should be gone, right?
The palm
there's-
tree.
The two photos are different dates. So one's 1/9 and one's 2/7. Same parking, same spot, same car.
Oh, one time, maybe two times, maybe at least once a month now. Oh,
Well, the correction was done with the swale, the
yeah,
patches.
well, still in the car thing. So the car's been there on 1/9 and was there on 2/7. And I have a feeling that if they drive by there a couple more times, they'll probably see it again. So,
But not gonna be done no more.
yeah, well, okay. So what would the village like in this case?
This one we're asking for compliance by March 30th, or the April 12th fine assessment hearing, or $25 a day fine.
Okay. 334-12-25?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this goes for you and it goes for everyone else in the room, especially in the violation hearings. If you say you fix this and you have sod out there and you have the car away, you have to call the code enforcement officers to come out for an inspection so they can verify that it has been done and the car's not parked there anymore.
Okay, I have pictures.
And they will put an affidavit of compliance in your file.
Okay.
And it does not count. You could go there and do it tonight if you wanted, but it wouldn't count unless you told them to come by and look. So you need to tell them to come by and look when you think you have compliance, and it needs to be some date before March 30th, or you're going to come back before me on April 12th and get fined.
So just to clarify for you, so parking is allowed on one side of the home. Unfortunately, I think your camper's taking up that one side. I don't think you're going to have room there. So you can park in the apron of the driveway, and you just need to park either, if you can park perpendicular to the road without blocking the sidewalk, or you can park parallel to the road facing the flow of traffic. You are allowed to use your swale, but you were using the swale, and that's why the grass is dead there, and we require the swale area to have sod and not seed. So you'll have to put.
I did that already.
Oh,
I
you
co- I
did do
covered
that?
it, yeah.
Because her picture on 2/7 yesterday shows that it's not done, so
No,
you
but
did
it's
that
done.
today?
It's done. I got a picture, but it's
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
it was done.
all right. But, if you continue to park on it, it will kill that.
Yeah. What
So-
about the RV, the camper?
The
That's
camper
not a problem
is
right
on
now.
the side of the home now,
Yeah,
is
it's on
good.
the side, yeah.
That's good, yeah.
Yes, it's
And
the
the
car.
palm trees, they're cut.
I saw
The
that she cut
landscaping
those.
is done.
Yeah, so that's not even on the agenda. The only thing that was on the agenda for tonight was the swale and the car parking on the front lawn. The other things were already corrected prior to the notice of hearing.
Okay, the swale is fine and everything's good. No
Okay,
more parking.
all
Okay.
right, okay.
Well, you need to call them for an inspection after you get a
Okay.
copy. After you get a copy of the order, though.
Okay.
So, a couple of days.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank you, sir.
much.
Thank you.
Next one on the agenda, right, next one down, 22-1902, 133 Sunflower Circle, Yanelis D. Bolito and Antonio Oliva.
The code section is 622-105.5. The description, permit number 22-1111 has expired. This violation was written on 12/22/22. It was sent certified mail on 12/7/22, and it was received signed on 1/5/23. Notice of hearing was mailed out on 1/13/23, and we have not received the green card back on that. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, permit information from AS 400.
You have a signed green card, you have service, you can proceed.
Your names for the record?
Antonio Oliva.
Thank you.
Yanelis Diaz Valido.
Thank you. Those documents I handed you are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence. Do you have any objection to those documents? There's a notice for tonight's hearing.
No, that's good.
Okay, thank you.
Admitted without objection.
No permit.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
So we're real close.
yeah, so they emailed in their permit extension today. So they'll be contacting you for payment on that.
Oh, okay.
And then it takes 3 to 4 days, sometimes a little bit longer, to get that renewed.
But they're
So-
gonna have till
They're going to have
3/30.
till March 30th,
Yeah,
right,
so
or the
they
April
should be,
12th
they
hearing.
should be fine. But just make sure that you follow through so that
Yeah,
you
make
get
sure you
that.
make the payment, and once you get the permit, call code enforcement, because you're no longer in code enforcement, you'll be in the building department. You have a new permit, you have 180 days to get an inspection done. Has the work already been done?
That's what. Yes, that's what. We don't know about this.
No,
because
no.
just
The
saw
only
it.
question I have really is if they clean or they did the duct work, you can just have it inspected. That's the thing.
We need the inspection only.
Yeah, that's the thing. They got a permit, but they let the permit go. They never got the final inspection. You had to pay. Well, you're going to have to pay to re-up the permit or reissue the permit or renew the
Renew
permit.
the permit.
One of these rewords. And
Yeah, I think it.
and all you have to do now is
We renewed
make
already.
the payment. They've already got the extension in. So
Yeah.
once you make the payment, you're good, but you still have to call code enforcement to tell them you've got the permit. Okay? And then look it on the computer, and then you're no longer a code problem, you're a building problem. And once you get the final inspection, then you're not a problem at all. Okay? All right, so 3/34/12/25 is granted.
Thank you.
So you have to get this all done by March 30th. It should be done in a week.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
Maybe 2 at the longest.
Next, top of page 6, 22-1802, 146 Alcazar Street, Luis P. Lemens. Or Lois, or Louise, I'm sorry if I mispronounced. Oh, thank you.
Are you Lewis?
No, I'm his daughter.
Yeah, you don't look like a Lewis to me. I could put an E on the end to make you a Louise.
I wasn't, that's what I thought when she walked over there. I thought, uh-oh, I messed
All
that
right,
up.
well, you got to tell us your name now.
Caitlin Lemens.
Kate with a K or a C,
Okay.
and last name?
Lemens, Lemenzee.
Okay. Daughter. Now I get to be jealous of the
Okay,
votes.
code section is 2318. 2 boats are stored on the property. I observed this on 11/15/22. The notice of violation is mailed out 11/17/22 and was signed for on 11/29/22. The notice of hearing was sent out certified mail 12/29/22 and was signed for on 1/25/23. We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
Ma'am, those documents I handed you are the exhibits that she just referenced. Do you have any objection to those documents?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, you have signed green cards, you have service. I am jealous of the votes. So I take it in Royal Palm Beach, you can only have two items on the property. One could be a boat, one could be a trailer,
Right,
or you can have a trailer and RV.
right.
You can have a boat and a trailer, or a boat and an RV, but you can't have 2 boats.
You cannot have 2 boats.
Correct.
You can't have 2 trailers. Can you have 2 trailers? We don't know.
Yeah, let's not answer that one.
We don't know that one, but we know you can't have 2 boats, so you got to pick a boat.
Yes. The one boat on the north side of the house came from Fort Myers after the hurricane. I wish I could bring it back, but obviously, as you know, Fort Myers was completely kind of wiped off the map of Florida. I am trying to get the main boat out of the driveway. That is my dad's. He is dealing with Parkinson's, so we are trying to deal with that. If I could just get like a month time.
No, you're going to get till March 30th like the rest of the world, so you're going to have tons
Okay,
of
yeah,
time.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be out within a week or two.
Yeah, if you were going to do this long term, it would be pick
No,
a
no, no,
boat.
yeah.
No,
I mean, I wish I
just-
could bring the boat back to
no,
Fort
no,
Myers, but obviously.
Fort Myers, those people have enough stuff going on.
Yeah.
Believe
Yeah,
me.
so,
No, as long as you get rid of one of them
yep.
before March 30th, but make sure you call code enforcement so
Get a
they can come by.
re-inspection.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you'll have no problems whatsoever.
Yep.
I like the bigger boat on the side of the house more than the little boat in the garage.
Yeah. If I could push it back, it'd be fine. But no, I'm going to try to get
I
the.
had a 22-foot open fisherman for 2.5 decades. I used it to
Aw.
death. It was
Yeah.
the best thing ever.
We love them. But
So, all right, 3:30, 4:12, 25. Bye.
all set?
Thank you. Yes, you're all set.
And make sure you call when they get rid of the one, because then you're fine as long as you have one. It's fine on the side of the house. It's fine in the driveway. Just pick. Yeah, that's the easy one.
Thank you.
Okay,
Next
take
is
care.
22-1934, 268 Sunshine Boulevard, Michelle L. and Stephen D. Mitchell.
I'll trade you.
Code section 622-105.5, permit 21-12-10 is expired. This was written on 12/27/22. The notice of violation was mailed out 12/28/22 and was signed for on 12/30/22. The notice of hearing was sent out certified mail 1/13/23 and was signed for on 1/21/23. We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, permit information.
That's correct.
Okay. Any objection to the documents?
No.
All right, admitted without objection.
Your names for the record?
Michelle Mitchell.
Stephen Mitchell.
Thank
All right,
you.
we have the owners. All right, so what I can see from here is we had a window door permit in 2021, extended in May of 2022. By December, that was not inspected, so the permit went away. So they need to re-up the permit and get an inspection, or you need to, did you get the windows and doors installed?
I didn't hear you.
Were the windows and doors done? Were they put in?
They were put in, yes, but they were also reordered because they weren't perfect windows. So they had to reorder them to replace them.
6 months.
6 months. And so we waited, an inspection came. It failed. So then we had expired the permit. They had to come back. They put the permit back in again. We were still waiting for the windows. They said they came. They were going to come in. My husband had back surgery. We couldn't get it in at that point in time. And they did a lot of damage to the house, into the windows that they need to fix. They don't answer our phone calls. We are, using a very large company. Now they want us to pay for it before we even get everything done. So we've been in contact with them. They just don't want to call us back, and they don't want to give us that we're getting anywhere. And with this, we're just going back into now arguing with them, basically.
Okay.
I mean, we're just.
It's
all
an
intent-
unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. I mean, but if I pay them in order for them to put in a new permit, the damage to my house is not going to be fixed. That's what I'm getting out of it. It's like they'll just replace the 2 windows that came in, but the first inspection isn't passed yet. So I know that it's not going to pass an inspection right now and to pay a permit. So we're kind of stuck at what to do, except for argue with them, and that's not helping us. I know that it's expired.
So they need to get the permit renewed, and one of your leveraging factors is if they're state licensed, you can always file a complaint against their state license.
Okay.
So I think I would have a conversation with them and let them know that you came to code enforcement, that you were given a deadline in which to renew the permits, and that if they don't at least extend the permit, because that still gives them 180 days. Once they renew your permit, they have 180 days to get the work done and to get it inspected. And then that gives you the time also in which, once they get that final inspection, then, you know, you pay them for that. So I would let them know that you need the permit renewed or you're going to file a complaint with the state.
Okay.
And it's the Florida
Department of Professional Regulation, DPR.
And they regulate many industries, and the construction industries is one of the industries that they regulate.
So you're going to write down DPR.
I got it.
DPR. But if you need help with that, we have the information in the office building department.
Yeah, that's like threatening an attorney with a bar complaint. It does get their attention. It may be crap or it may be good, but it does get their attention. So 334-1225?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
When's my
you're going to
deadline?
get an order that says you have to have this done by March 30th, so you can wave that in their face, along with the threat of a DPR complaint. And then hopefully that will get you some motivation from your slow contractors. Who's doing the windows?
Florida Home Improvement is FHIA.
Good, I won't use them.
Yeah, please.
No, please don't. We're all
Home
good.
improvement, no. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. More permit cases.
Next is on the bottom of the same page, 22-1766, 232 Ponce de Leon Street, Christina Back and Walter J. Scarmato.
Thank you.
Okay, code section is 622108.4, 91, 1252, and 1259. Work done without a permit, change of grade and fence extension, debris in the canal. This was observed on 10/18/22. The notice of violation was sent out certified mail on 10/25/22. I have actual service by email. The notice of hearing was sent out certified mail 12/29/22, and again, actual service by email. We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, permit information.
Okay.
Your name, sir, for the record?
Thank you. My name is Richard Bogatin. I'm here as a friend to assist Walter Scarmento and Christina Bake. Not the greatest
Spell your
public
last name?
speaker. B as in boy, Ogatin.
Okay, so there's a permit printed on 2/7.
Yes, sir.
Is that good or bad?
Oh, that's wonderful.
The 9-1, that's going to be a finding of fact.
Okay.
All right, so the 9-1 is which one, the fence or the grade?
Sir, those, before we get there, those documents that I handed you are the exhibits the village would like to enter into evidence. Do you have any objection to those papers that I handed you?
I don't see photos.
They're on the screen, sir.
I'm not giving copies of the photos, and I'm assuming I'm able to keep these.
You can keep those, yes. And you
Then
can,
I have no objection.
perfect. The photos are on the screen, and you can ask for the photos through the clerk's office if you want public records after
I
the
was just
hearing.
wondering.
Okay. Yes, you can get them. It's just a question of
Yeah, you gotta ask. Chapter 119, Florida Public Records Request.
Oh, very familiar with it, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Been I've been a city attorney for 35 years. Yeah, love those.
So we just want you to know the debris in the canal is the concrete bags.
Oh, concrete bags in the canal. What is you said one of them was done? Which was done?
9-1. The work done without a permit will be a finding of fact.
All right, so work done without a permit, change of grade and fence extension.
The
is a
only
finding of fact. Then
right, the
9-1.
remaining violation is the debris in the canal, which the code officer was just explaining to you.
All right. So we have debris in the canal, which is cement
And the
bags.
change of grade.
And the change of grade. So what's the change of grade they did? They flattened it out. They steepened it up. I can't tell.
You finished? change of grade is under 9.1 or no?
No. We're leaving the 622, 108.4, 91 is a finding of fact. That's the fence. 1252 and 1259 is the
Okay, the parentheses is what was
So we're just
confusing.
talking about debris in the canal.
And the change of grade and fence extension.
No.
That's the fence extension, not the change of grade.
for the change of grade yet.
All right, so the fence is good.
So just the change of grade.
It's the change of grade and the debris. Gotcha. All right, and the change of grade was done how? They flattened out the grade to the canal. Where's the grade change done? Do I know?
They brought in fill. They brought in fill and raised it.
Raise
So
it.
they're gonna work with engineering
To
get a
lower
permit
it
and bring it down to.
back to where it's supposed to be.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna allow them to put fill in there, but that's part of they need an engineering permit.
'Cause you just can't throw
do
in
what they
cement
need to do.
bags as
They were told
riprap
that they
for
need to
fun.
get flow stuff and
Okay. All right, so
My turn?
sure, why not?
Excellent. Thank you very much. Good evening, magistrate, staff. Appreciate y'all being here. I have some exhibits I'd like to hand in.
Give it to her first.
Is it the
I have two
copies of the
copies.
same? Perfect.
One for you. and one for Matt. Just to put them in the record, I'll go over quickly with what the exhibits are. Exhibit number one
Wait a
is
second. They gave you a chance to object. They get to look and object if they want to.
Oh, so this is all about the stuff that's been removed. This is about this other permit. Exhibits 3 and 2.
yes. So, and then the emails back and forth.
Public record.
It's
Hearsay
all public.
exceptions.
I don't know what that is. That's not his property. Your pictures are a composite exhibit?
Yes, they're just actually part of the email, and I did an A because as the email chain goes on, unfortunately, the pictures
Many
go
of these
away.
pictures are not the property, the subject property?
Certainly they are. They're all of the subject property. There is no pictures in there that aren't.
So this is his property? I thought that was the golf course property.
That's across the canal from them.
Right, so that's
But
not
that's
his
the view.
property.
No, that's not
Yeah.
the subject. I think it says it right here.
But
It
that's
says
what
the
I'm
canal.
saying. So
Yes,
we're
ma'am.
here for the subject property
I
tonight.
understand, but it
So,
just has a
that's
bearing
fine.
in the fact that it was part of the email.
Mm-hmm.
I don't plan to really speak to the golf course property or the, shall we say,
Well-
big buffer between it.
So I'm just trying to let her know. So it's like the expired permit, that's not even on the agenda
I
tonight?
was pleased to see that. Thank you very much. And I was unaware that you pulled it off the agenda because the agenda I received did have it. And I noted that on the agenda tonight, you're still quoting the code section that it references a expired permit. 622, I believe. But I'm very happy, not complaining.
622 is the adoption of the Florida Building Code.
Oh, okay. Well, which one was the
9-1 was the fence.
10105? At any rate, it's been cured, and I'm very happy about that.
All right, so is there an objection from the village?
The difficulty is some of these documents are not relevant to the
Yeah,
cases
I
before you
understand.
tonight,
Some of them I would probably take out on a relevance objection, but I'm just going to admit the entire pile for fun. Everyone gets to throw their documents in. All right, tell us your story, sir.
Thank you very much. Just to kind of go through, obviously Exhibit 1 shows that we did obtain the fence permit. It was applied for.
That's not disputed, sir.
I understand. I'm just going through the exhibits.
Well, we don't care about the irrelevant stuff. There's a whole
Thank
bunch
you.
of people
Exhibit-
here waiting to get theirs done too.
Exhibit 2 and 3 are, without a doubt, taken care of. Exhibit 4A shows pictures. The pictures show the canal. It's not really even a canal. It's a drainage ditch that's directly behind the property owner. Then it shows a side picture. Then it shows where he put in underground to stop the washout that he's been having terrible problems with. So what he's done is he put in underground drainage from his downspouts out to the canal. There was no real raise in the level, as you can see the level behind from the picture that says subject property looking north. What was done was he added sandbags, actually concrete bags, and you can see from the other picture it's looking to the other side of the property, and that's their ground spot. And of course, they did mention that across the way, it's just a picture of what is across the way. It's not an adjacent owner, not that it matters. But then the last picture is, second to last picture shows those concrete bags again. This was done in effect because he's experienced severe washouts on the bank of the drainage ditch. As I can go down to Exhibit 4B, I've been working very diligently with the village in trying to straighten out the situation that we have with the banks because we didn't clearly understand what they were talking about. If you'll take a look at Exhibit 8, all the way in the back, it would be Exhibit 7, all the way in the back, this drawing was provided to the homeowners by a village employee. So they thought they did what they were supposed to do. Exhibit 6 shows what the village said to this homeowner that he had to do to fix the bank, which that's fine if it was a navigable canal. We could live with it. I have been working with the village. We've had some delays going back and forth. I'm proud to say we've made a lot of progress. Finally, on January 31st, we were visited by the engineering department to inspect the property. It's all documented in the emails. He went back to his office, and they again said, Exhibit 6 is what you need to do. And I was like, that's crazy. I mean, it's a lot of money, and it's not even what you do on the bank like that. And on top of it, the neighbor next door, he had a washout. He was cited. I've asked for copies of that information. I have not been provided it yet, but he certainly didn't do that to correct his problem. So to me, that's kind of a sticky wicket. But the real problem, you can't
throw
treat
the
one person-
neighbor under the bus argument. I hate those.
I do too.
Do you know how much I hate those?
I do too.
Those are so irrelevant, and it's
No.
just such an excuse.
My point,
And
sir,
your
I'm
point
sorry.
is you're just trying to be a lawyer or something.
Not even close. I'm just trying to help
Quite
my
frankly,
friend.
most of the stuff that I've seen here is just totally irrelevant. You don't grab a bunch of sandbags or concrete bags, make your own riprap up, and do this without a permit.
Understand, sir.
So
I understand,
and
sir.
you think
However-
and you think that the proposed plan by the village is a bunch of crap. That's fine. Just replace what you had
No,
there.
If you let me finish.
No, I'm kind of almost done with you.
I apologize.
I've heard your argument. It's lovely, but
But here's
you
the
have
other
you have a
part.
choice.
Here's
you
the
can
other
either
part that we
return
have.
it to its original position, or you can do what the village says.
And
that
we
you
want to
don't-
work. We want to work very closely with the village. Just
Yeah.
yesterday, I had a wonderful conversation with Mr. Hill. We have an appointment set on Monday. My problem is, and I've asked the village to delay finding a violation in this case. And the main reason is because on the original plat, which still exists, which is still an active document, the maintenance of this drainage canal was the responsibility of Indian Trail. Indian Trails also had the option where the village could absorb that. They absorbed the easement. In absorbing the easement that burdens his property, it comes with the obligation to maintain. I take a snippet of that. I believe it's exhibit. Only thing I'm asking for is a 30-day delay because this is going to take a long time. There's got to be surveys in accordance with what I've discussed. There's got to be engineering, and we have to straighten out. But at the end of the day, I realize you thought I was throwing the neighbor under the bus, but the fact of the matter is why can't we do the same as they did? And I believe we can. But at this time, through all the conversations that I've had and all the going back and forth with emails, I haven't been able to get an answer in regards to what's really expected other than this. So if you say, okay, you have 6 weeks, it's going to take 6 weeks just to do the surveys and the engineering to get what needs to be done.
When were they cited?
Well, so this was cited in October, but Kevin told them about this when he went out to do, so instead of going through code enforcement immediately, they were trying to handle it through the building department
Who's
with
Kevin?
their,
Tell him who
Kevin
is.
Backer is our building inspector, and they were trying to handle it through that. So Kevin said that they would not receive a final on this gazebo, I believe, until all the building issues were taken care of, because they had put the concrete bags in there, and that you cannot do.
I understand
So
that.
if they had removed that and then graded it down and did the slope like the neighbor did, then that, I don't think there would be a problem. But
And
you guys
hopefully-
wanted to do something different, and you also have a drainage pipe and stuff in there. And then I believe that just recently, well, we met with you and we told you that you needed an engineering permit.
Mhm.
Then you called Winston and had a meeting with Winston at the property to find out that you needed an engineering permit.
That's
He came
incorrect.
back to the office and told us that he said that you needed an engineering permit, but then you sent an email saying that he was going back to check with his supervisor to see if he needed an engineering permit. Which that, Chris Marsh, our village engineer, said he needed an engineering permit. So we're almost 2 months, just shy of 2 months from our original meeting where we told you you needed an engineering permit to find out that you needed an engineering permit.
At this point,
So,
my conversations with Mr. Marsh and Mr. Hill have indicated that an engineering permit might not be required, nor would the design post it. Again, the situation in regards to the easement, the village's position that they're not responsible for it, troubles me in the fact that when an easement burdens a property, from my experience in real estate, that it comes with obligations.
Well,
And
but-
an
but-
easement, especially when it serves other people.
But hold
I'm
on, sir,
not
you're not
saying-
reading the language
You're
on the
not allowing
plat.
me to finish.
Well, but you're not telling him the whole story. You gave him
Oh.
an exhibit, but it says on the plat, the language you gave him, it says dedication of canal and waterway easements is not to be considered as an agreement to accept maintenance of canals by the village of Royal Palm Beach.
Correct.
That says the village is not responsible for maintaining them.
But you're missing a comma.
I'm not, sir.
No, we're trained to look for commas. We're trained to look for semicolons. We're trained to follow things. We have rules of construction. Expressio unis, what's that Latin expression? The expression of one is not the exclusion of others.
Another, right.
Expressius,
Right.
God, all those lovely Latin crap things I learned in law
It's
school.
the dedication.
So
that says-
here we go. We're not going to go do this for an hour.
I agree.
We've done enough.
All that
You
I'm
have
asking is
you
a
have
convey.
unpermitted items in the canal that you have admitted that you've placed there. The concrete bags are not allowed there.
I agree.
And you can just leave them there and get fined, or you can move them, or you can do something else. But all we're going to do is, what are the dates? 'Cause I'm
So the 9-1 is a finding of fact. The other
9-1 of finding
section
of fact, that's granted. What
is
are the dates on the rest of it?
comply by March 30th, or appear at the April
30th,
12th fine hearing, or
or
$25 a
12th.
day fine.
25. Granted.
How much time do we have to?
3:30, like everybody else. You've had months to deal with this. You want to deal with it your way, you can deal with it your way and
I
eat a
disagree,
fine. You
but-
want to remove things and stop the fines, that's fine. This is your choice and his.
We have no problem with it. Hopefully, in my meeting Monday, we'll be able to come up with an expected design that they will approve, and we'll implement it immediately.
And if
However,
not, you're going to get
my
fined
problem
on
is
the
that
12th of April. It's all good. Have fun.
when we're in for a permit, and it takes 6 weeks for the permit, that doesn't help us, right? Doesn't matter.
You've
that we
got
were in
more
for
than
permit.
6 weeks left between now and April 30 or March 30th.
Well, I still have to come up with a design.
Oh, well, you haven't had that done yet?
We haven't.
You've
determined
complained
what they
about
want-
everything else. Why haven't you done the design?
because they haven't determined what they want us to do.
Oh, well, then you'll figure it out. You're welcome. You have a great
Next, we're going to top of page 7, 23-0001, 500 Royal Plaza Road, AMG Business Enterprises, LLC.
Good evening.
All right, what's your name for the record, sir?
Vincent Kafer, Kafer.
And your relation to the LLC, sir?
I'm the agent / architect for the property.
Thank you. 500 Royal Plaza.
Okay.
The code section is 622-108.4 and 2349A6. Description is construction on the north side of the building without permits, disabled wrecked vehicles parked in the parking lot. This violation was observed on 9/20/22 and sent certified mail on 9/21/22 and signed for on 9/28/22. Notice of hearing was mailed certified mail 1/4/23 and signed for on 1/6/23. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
You said a different section than that. That's the no permit. 2349. Thank you. And Special Magistrate, just a correction to your agenda, code section 2349A6. Regarding the vehicle that the supervisor just testified to.
Okay.
Multiple vehicles.
Multiple vehicles, thank you.
Okay, 2349 was left off the agenda, is that what you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Because it's on the citation notice.
It's on the
Yes.
documents, it was just
So
off the agenda.
it's part of the case, it just left off the agenda.
Yes.
A6.
Sir, those documents I just handed you are the exhibits the village would like to enter into evidence. Do you have any objection to those documents?
No objection.
Thank you, sir.
All right, COVID green card equals service. Sign green card equals service for the hearing.
We'll bifurcate it and just do that for the site plan part. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll
Pay
be looking
attention.
for that in a couple cases.
Okay. All right, so we've got construction on the north side of the building without a permit, no site plan modifications to justify construction. Do we have permits or anything like that issued?
No.
No, nothing, and
No,
nothing.
we would not issue a permit because it's not.
It's not site planned, it's not site plan
So
modified. It's-
typically what would happen is if they applied for the permit, it would come in, it would go directly upstairs, and upstairs would nix it right away because they can't do this without a site plan modification.
Yeah. So, all right, so no site plan modifications, and then we have, what kind of vehicles dead over there?
Well, they're collision center, so
They just leave their dead
yeah.
cars outside?
yeah. Originally, it was a lot more than this, and they were parked all over the grass at AT&T as well. So it's not as
As
many
bad?
as what it was, but they're still not supposed to be out there.
Okay, so is there a lot on their site plan for these types of vehicles being parked somewhere?
No, they
or
have to
no?
be inside the building. They can't be stored outside. They can't be parked outside or to
Got
wait
it.
for
They have more
service.
business
I
than
just
what they
know
have
that I've seen
space for.
that there are spaces in the village where someone got permission to put their stuff back behind a fence or something. But that's not been happening here, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Our automotive repair shops are actually supposed to keep everything contained within their buildings.
All right. Your side, sir, please.
Okay. Well, the first violation, which is the disabled cars parked outside, they are basically a 24/7 operations facility. They serves the largest public fleet, which is the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. So they're always dropping off cars and going away. So until someone can log in the cars and then bring the cars in, it takes a while. So sometimes, yes, there will be cars outside until they can move them in. They are rapidly growing company, and they just acquired the building next door. So we're about to submit permits, and the plans are all done for complete renovation. Where it used to be the charter school, they are going to add to the building. So there is a 9,600 square foot of building that's going to be full with cars, disabled cars, and everything. So that way they're going to solve this problem, because then the tow trucks can bring the cars directly in the building and then unload and stay there. Outside are going to be just cars there for employees, for clients, and some cars they are ready for picked up. So I spoke to them yesterday and today before the meeting. They said that actually when you visit the site, they had some cars there, but they have been moved in. So there will be times where the cars are going to be there, few cars, 3 cars, or whatever, and then they're going to try to move in. That's related to cars. They keep on trying that daily as much they can.
Okay.
I have no control, as the purpose I'm into it is I don't have control. This you want to comment anything about it?
Well, just so that you know, the day that I was here, when I went into the Goodyear, because I had an issue over there, and saw the east side of the building, and they actually had a car outside the bay with the bumpers out there, like drying, and it was jacked up as well in the parking lot. So they are doing their work outside of the building, as well as storing their cars outside of the building. So I don't know, maybe whatever key they're going to give to the tow truck drivers for the new facility, they could give them for this facility. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, no, the new facility is next to it. It's together. It's the same building.
Okay.
Just gonna,
But I'm just saying, whatever access they're going to give the tow truck drivers when they get that, maybe they could give to them now.
There's no place inside the store.
I mean, there is no enough space inside the stores. And then at the end of the day, they bring all the cars in, and then they bring the cars out. I understand your point. I understand the code. I respect it. But that's what they're trying to solve the problem. They just acquired the land next door.
With the other building. I think, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to solve the problem without the other building. So I doubt that when they have workers in there, that they're able to actually move the cars in there and still work.
They have to keep on
I have a
bringing
feeling
in.
these cars are out there if I go past tonight.
And, well, as we speak, there might be cars being dropped off as now, because 24/7. In regards to the construction on the north side, that is attached to a wall. That is originally it was there, and they just improved that, and they have some compressors outside. So what they do is they screen the compressors for the shop, and that's the way they thought they solved. They didn't understand they needed permits for that. So I believe, and that's me talking, they tried to solve that problem themselves, making it, embellishing it, making better. I don't think they really understood at that time your point, that they had to go for permits, they have to go for compliance. And that's what I advised them when I got into the problem. So I advised them, and I said, listen, what's written here, you need to do first a site plan amendment. And then after that, once you approve, then you go for the building department and you comply with the fence. By my experience, there is no problem with the fence. There is no zoning issue. I talked to the planner. Even today, I talked to the planner. And I had a meeting with them last month. because of other things for the same site, and they asked me not to submit it right now for a site plan amendment. Reason is because they also acquire a lot that was public owned on the north side. So we have 190 days to improve that site, to come with a proposal to the zoning, get approved, and then start to do the improvement there. The improvement we're planning there is a parking lot. It's going to be fenced, it's going to be with landscape and everything, the way the code requires to do it. But that it takes time for us in planning and in drawings and submit it. So now we went for a pre-zoning application meeting with them, and then I heard from the planner and the in charge for the zoning department that we should not submit this application that we're talking about now, but submit all together with the other applications. The reason is that you just can submit 2 applications per year in 12 months for a site plan amendment, only 2. And unfortunately, my client submitted an application. He didn't know, the canopy company did, because they want to extend the canopy in the back. And then the canopy company, to get it approved, they submit an application, similar to what they should do with this fence there, the reason we're here. And then they had 1 application submitted, so we have just the choice for another one in 12 months. So we could not submit this application because then we would lose all this month, and then they will lose the deal with the next door land. That's the whole problem. I'm in contact.
So you screwed yourself.
Not me. The system completely messed up the problem. And we're about to submit the application in a month to the zoning department, but until it goes to review, it's 3 weeks, then another 3-4 weeks for the actual zoning approve it. So I'm kind of a hands tied with this, and I beg you for your pardon on this, and give us some extra time, or a solution for this. It's not that they don't want to do, they want to do this, but the problem is the schedule of the zoning does not allow us to submit another single application. That's the problem.
So the problem is they have too much business, they won't turn it away, they keep taking it, and they keep violating the code. Right? And they want Royal Palm to excuse this until they get enough space to do it right, like they should have done the first time. Kind of.
I will have to agree with you. Yeah.
Okay.
And to your point, and I just want to make sure, because I don't think I've seen you or met you before, but just so you understand, that village, that portion of the lot they bought from the village, they cannot just put a fence around that. That has to be incorporated into the existing site.
I understand.
Not just a fence around it like it looks like an out parcel. I've had
You're talking about the new
the
parcel?
new vacant.
No, that's a
piece.
whole site plan amendment thing.
Correct, but incorporated.
I have 6 applications just for
No,
that one.
We won't.
To
No.
make that happen, I need to do exception. I need to do major.
You have a whole list of things to do, and you have 180 days.
That's
right.
why it's taking a long time for us to put all together, because it's a lot of things to put it together. Not that they don't want to do it.
But I just want you to understand that incorporating that vacant piece into the existing site, they cannot store wrecked vehicles on that portion either.
Perfectly understand.
Okay, very good. I just wanted to make sure that was clear to you as well.
Yeah, I mean.
So the difficulty is he's right. They did purchase a small half of a vacant public ownership parcel, but they're months away. I can't have the code enforcement problems wait for the rest of what's going on. They've been in the works for almost a year now to get the property purchased and get through that whole village council approval process. So these need to be independent. I understand they rely on the other stuff, but doing work without a permit and putting what could be electrical to have compressors out there and then wall it off, we can't let that go forever.
Does the site plan even allow for compressors outside the building there?
I don't know. We'll get there when they submit for a permit.
Does. It's like air conditioning. You have the compressor outside.
Oh,
it's not flammable. It's not anything like.
But if it has electrical, it needs electrical permits, and that's all part of the permitting process.
Well, that they did because they had the
Yeah,
electrician
well,
doing that. So
my mother,
Yeah, but I don't know that they pulled a permit to add electric over there.
I
Somebody
can't-
would have been,
I can't tell you yes or no.
well,
because it
I'm
was-
telling you, someone would have been questioning why they're adding electric on the outside of the building. 'Cause our site plans are pretty specific, and you really can't change the outside of a building. Like, you can't even change a window out and change the frame color.
I do understand.
Yeah.
my mother's boyfriend,
On
40 years,
commercial.
body shop. Believe me, I've been around Vilvis and other compressors my entire life. Why you would want the compressors outside exposed to the weather is beyond me. You know, you don't want your compressors rained on. You want them in a sort of watertight area. I understand the
If
noise.
I would design it, I agree with you.
Yeah, so here we have your
fair.
client, once again, who's grown too big, too fast, and he wants them to ignore the zoning code and ignore the rest of the codes relating to site development and everything else, so they have time to catch up. So I'm not very sympathetic. That's my point. These are people who are just doing this self-inflicted stuff left and right. You know? So what does the village want to do?
We're asking for compliance by, again, the March 30th date. We'd be willing to set it for status/fine assessment hearing on April 12th, or $50 a day fine.
And that's what I'm going to do. I will set it for a status/fine assessment to see what's going on. But they can't stop code enforcement from code enforcing because your clients just need more time.
I do understand.
I mean,
It's just an
you know,
unfortunate
it's
situation.
like those kind of guys. I mean, I've been around body guys my entire life. They'll fix things. They'll make the most incredible stuff ever, but they may not permit it, and that's the problem. You know, they're geniuses with what they do. You should have seen the camper my mother's boyfriend made. It looked like a spaceship. It was freaking incredible. But, you know, he didn't have permitting issues.
Yeah.
So you
That's a
got
tough-
permitting issues, and your clients are trying to help themselves out, but they're hurting themselves more. They've drawn attention. So 3:30, 4:12, 50, and we'll come back and see what's going on.
And you had said that you plan to apply for the site plan modification within the month.
Most likely within a month. If the landscaping design and the civil engineering,
So, okay.
it's all done. Architecturally, we have everything done. The site plan is done. All the forms, all the applications are all done. Just waiting for the engineering and landscape architecture.
All right.
Then we're going straight to.
So we should
to.
have that application in before that
Yeah.
April.
I can
hearing.
even go back to the planning department and talk to them and say what we can do specifically for this, and see if they can magically find a way I can submit a.
No, they can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the the Muni code. That's
but you should have that submitted by our next hearing,
April 12th.
Okay.
Most submitted. I think there is a good chance, very good chance.
Good. We're in February.
Right. No, yeah. But submitted, that's fine. I can submit. I think I can commit with that. Right.
All right. So
I can
3:30,
commit with that.
4:12, 50, and we're done.
Thank you.
We'll see him again in a month. Well, a couple months.
Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Who's next?
Thank you.
Now we're at fine mitigation hearings. 210482 103 Seminole Lakes Drive, Seminole Lakes Homeowners Association, Inc.
That'll take out a row, right? Sacrificial lambs. Okay.
We would like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, fine mitigation request. Exhibit 2, order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
Okay. Please tell us who you are.
Peter Rollick, R-A-W-L-I-K, Vice President of the Seminole Lakes Homeowners Association.
All right. And the question I ask of everyone in these cases, why should the fine be reduced?
As documents will show, we've had a long-standing problem with our gates not being operable. This dates back to early 2020 when the gates went bad. The motors that operate the gate failed, both of them. It was determined they needed to be replaced. We placed an order. It's COVID. It's supply chain issues. We could not get those motors until August, and then we could not get those replaced because, again, the pandemic slowed things down. That's one issue. What we need to understand here is that while the gates are not opening, it's not just one issue. We had a cascade of issues. As we went through this, we discovered that the sensors in the ground that prevent us from hitting the gates or open the gates failed. We had multiple hits with the gates that damaged the gates and bent the frames. We had the call box damaged and had to be replaced. We discovered our database was bad. It was a cascade of effects that took us 3 years, and honestly, I'm looking at the numbers now, $56,000 to replace. Even after we got everything replaced, we still found that we had other issues. The new equipment is more sensitive to power fluctuations, and we had to install a battery backup system. We also discovered that the new system, the range for the gate openers was not as wide as it was claimed to be. We had to buy backups and extenders so that first responders could get through in a timely fashion. We've contracted now with a company to put cameras in so that we can catch people who are damaging our gates. I understand the village's position. We understand our association's position. We've heard it. Unfortunately, given the issues, and not all of them were foreseeable, we believe that the board acted in a timely, reasonable, and fiscally responsible manner. And we appreciate your consideration on that issue.
All right, so what do you think the fine should be?
And do you have the fine amount, sir? It's
No, what is it?
$7,950.
What do you think the fine should be?
Honestly, I would love for it to go away completely. I don't know that that's a reasonable request.
Not really, because just completely means that the village gets these all kinds of costs for their attorneys and their recording and their unrecording of all these things. So, but okay, what's the village say?
We're not opposing a reduction. We would be willing to reduce it to $2,397.32 payable by April 10th.
We'll have to accept that.
I'll do 2,000 by 410. Just make it a nice
2,000?
round number. Yep,
You 2,000?
2,000 by 410. 75% reduction.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, take care. That was the whole row. Now I got the whole rest of the page.
And Special Magistrate, now we have, I'll read all these into the record. There are several in a row here.
8.
Yes,
I
sir.
counted.
So I'll read them in, and then I'll give you the fine amounts for each one, and the code officer, code supervisor will give you all of the rest of the information. First one is 07-1990-10670 Bobby Lane, Lenville C. Pratt. You want to do them individually, or want me to read them all, and then you'll do them all?
You can read them all.
All right. 09-1420-10670 Bobby Lane, Lenville C. Pratt. And I'm sorry, sir, in the first one, 07-1900, the fine amount is $402,450. 402,450. In case 09-1420, the fine amount is $8,900. Third case is 10-0185, 10670 Bobby Lane, Lenville C. Pratt. The fine amount in that case is $73,675. Case 12-1735, 10670 Bobby Lane, Lenville C. Pratt. Fine amount $2,800. Case 12-2192, 10670 Bobby Lane, Lenville C. Pratt. $102,500 is the fine amount. Case 13-0380, 10670 Bobby Lane, Lenville C. Pratt. The fine amount is $225. Case 15-0823, 10670 Bobby Lane, Lenville C. Pratt. The fine amount is $12,875. And case 16-2202, 10670 Bobby Lane, Lenwell C. Pratt. The fine amount is $11,650.
All right. Tell us who you are.
I am Linwell Pratt, and this is my
Keith McPherson. I'm his real estate broker.
this is my wife, Brenda Pratt.
Hold on, sir. If you could hold on 1 second. The code supervisor needs to get the evidentiary case files in. If she
Okay.
could just do that very quickly, and then you can go, sir. Hold on just 1 second.
I just want to clarify, Mr. Pratt, you had a case that you requested a fine mitigation for, and it was not added to the agenda. It was case number 08-2315, and it wasn't added to the agenda because it was an abatement. And it was, I forget what the amount of it was, if it was $156 or $236, and we don't allow abatement mitigations on that. So that one was not added to your agenda.
What's the abatement?
Abatement is where we did something. Can you get to the fine?
You want to get your exhibits in for all of
Yeah.
them?
So 08-2315. On all of these cases that were read, I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the fine mitigation request. Exhibit 2 is the order assessing fines and the recorded orders. Exhibit 3 is verification of ownership, and Exhibit 4 are affidavits of compliance. And we're looking up the other case for you.
4, 5. I think you might have set a record. I think my last big one was 400,000. This is over $500,000.
And does it say what it was?
Well,
Yeah, so it was a one-time mow. Public Works went out there and mowed, and it was $286, you said?
when was this?
Back in 2008.
2008. What date?
Um,
Because I don't know if anybody been there and cut the grass. I don't know that.
It was written on November 13th. I can pull the file for you.
Because
But
all this is
that's all
but
baby
all
stuff.
All this is new to me. I just found out through my realtor that I'm trying to sell a house. I've been going through bankruptcy. The house caught on fire. I had to do the house because the guy that was doing the house when I left, so I go and finish the house myself. And I'm working, and I never knew this until he brought it to me that I had a lien on the house. And because Miss Martha came to me a while back, and everything she told me to do, we did it in a timely fashion, and I didn't know that I had extra for all these other violations that happened before. I didn't know nothing about it until he came to me and said, "Hey, you got a lien." I said, "What?"
You got $500,000 in liens.
Yeah, that's what he told me. I said, I didn't even know none of that. I ain't get no letter in the mail. I didn't sign none of these violations.
It's
I didn't know.
07, 09, 08, 10, 2012, 2012, 2013, 2015, 2016.
I never.
In each of these cases, and I've been the special magistrate for the Village of Royal Palm Beach since approximately 2009, the first thing I look for in each and every one of these cases is service. And why do I look for service? I look for service because there's something called due process. And due process means that there has to be notice and an opportunity to be heard. And notice is usually either done one of two ways in the village. It is done by certified mail, and you can refuse to sign for it, and it is done by posting it on the property, and 99% of the time they have pictures of the posting being done. So if I have looked at any of these files, and that would be not the 2007 and not the 2008, and maybe not the 2009, if I wasn't early enough in that calendar year, anything afterwards, I would have made sure that there was service on you, so you would have known. So
You can see the name on the name that's Kimberly Williams. That was my first wife. Maybe she signed for it. I don't know, but she never brought it to my attention.
Okay,
I
well,
just found out before. I just found out after from my new wife and my.
So
I didn't know nothing about it.
May I say something?
Sure, go right ahead.
Yeah, so obviously I think we all understand the grand scheme of this, and there's a lot of violations on there. And I don't think the objection, obviously, on the violations themselves. I think more the Pratts have gone through bankruptcy in 2017. Obviously, financial struggles in the the past, and obviously that is one thing that's happened. The house was in bankruptcy, and they were approached. A bankruptcy attorney referred the business to me to help them out. They are going to be selling out of bankruptcy. When we ran the title search for this, it came up and it probably adds up to 900 something thousand.
Ooh,
So
the biggest.
obviously
invest.
it's a large sum. I think I spoke to one of the agents, the code enforcement, possibly over there. I can't remember the name. To go over it, there was two violations that were still running. So when I spoke to Brenda to talk about it, they were right on the phone straight away to make sure the violations were corrected, just never actually inspected. So obviously, grand scheme things, it's a lot of money. To shorten it for you and not to go over they really do need a reduction, a huge one, in order to be able to move on to the next stage of their life and to sell this property without it going into foreclosure. And I think that's what we're here to ask, if there is some kind of reduction that can be done in order to allow them to do that.
So what are you talking about in terms of a number?
So there's not much equity in the home to do everything. After payoffs and closing costs and everything, there's probably around $5,000. So it's a huge, and we're on the market right now. We have offers that we are obviously looking to accept. However, this is obviously something that's hanging over. The alternative to this is at some point they'd have to make a decision whether to stop paying the mortgage and stop paying it in the bankruptcy and move on. But I guess that's not where we're trying to allow them to move on to the next stage. We've found them new accommodation, affordable accommodation, that we're going through the process of right now. And this is going to be the last thing. So hopefully we sell it to some new buyers that are looking after the place. It's in compliance right now, and that's obviously hopefully for the benefit of Royal Palm Beach, and definitely for the benefit of the Pratts in order to move on with their life.
So what I'm being told is there's $5,000 worth of equity in the property if everything gets done.
So there's the payoff for the bank is payoff for the bank is around $355,000. So it's probably up a little bit since then, about 3,000. With all fees and costs and everything for closing costs, it's probably another 35,000. Commissions, taxes, title insurance, all the above. And then the offers that were coming in are not even at that price point. They're around 380,000. So there's going to be a job for me to work a way of finding the numbers to make it happen, if that's something that you can forgive that amount.
What's the village's position on all of this?
So we would not be opposed to reduction, but even at the agreed reduced amount, it's still over $100,000. I mean, $5,000 that's not a reasonable amount of money. These are the offenders. These are the violators. I understand they're trying to get rid of the property, but that's not the village's problem, and that's not the village residents' problems who had to deal with the violations over all these years. So, again, we're not opposing reduction, but $5,000, that's not even a reasonable number.
Yeah, go ahead. She wants to say something.
I moved there in 2017, and a lot of these liens, like Keith said, I was unaware until I received a text message around December the 12th. I have pulled 2 permits, and I believe it's one of the ones that were for $400,000 that you guys had a lien on, and I'm not understanding that if there was a lien for that amount of money at that time, why was I not made aware of that, being that I was his new wife? I've pulled a permit for a fence, I've pulled a permit for a gazebo, and then there was a broken window that was fixed that Miss Margaret came out and verified that that window was fixed. And after speaking with Keith, and once I knew about this situation, I called Miss Margaret, She told me that she did not document anything in her records, which I found to be negligent on her behalf, because if you came out and you clearly see that the window was fixed, I'm not understanding why that specific lien kept accruing charges and it wasn't closed out.
So
The,
you
the
called her?
$400,000
I
lien.
have everything here, ma'am.
You called her to inspect that case, that specific case
I did, yes, ma'am.
for the window?
Yes, ma'am.
And what case is that?
I believe that's the one for the 402,000.
Because I
yeah.
kind of remember meeting you
Yes, ma'am.
at one of these hearings and telling you about the large liens and to contact me
No.
for mitigation.
No one ever told me about 6 or 7 liens that you guys just mentioned.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay. We have a credibility issue here.
Well, and the violation that she's speaking of for the broken window is from 2007.
Which would
She
not
just-
have been Margaret's case. Margaret wasn't here then?
No, ma'am. I didn't say 2007.
Okay.
I moved to the property in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
She cited us during the time I applied for the permit for the gazebo and the fence.
Mm-hmm.
And when she cited, the very same day, I went to the glass company of Palm Beach, and she either gave me the option to purchase the individual piece that was broken, or I had the option to pull a permit to change the whole frame of the window itself. And of course, we went with the route of fixing the individual window.
That's not even a case.
That's not one of these cases. Though,
That's
right?
not one of these cases. The latest,
That's the
the
only
last
window-
case on this list is 2015, 2 years prior to you.
Yeah.
That's the only
but
window that
what-
was broken prior to me moving into that home.
You're saying you were cited for a broken window in
17, yeah, it has
That's not
nothing
one
to
of
do with
these
anything
cases.
here.
No, I didn't say 2017. I said I moved there in 2017.
I know,
It
so
was
something had to be after 2017 for you to be cited, for you to
Right.
have heard about this.
Because
And
I
what I'm
pulled a-
telling you is, if you look at this list of stuff, the last case on is 2015, 2 years before you ever got there. There's nothing in there for a 2017 violation.
No, I didn't say it was a 2017 violation.
And
I
the
said I-
violation could have been a different window. It doesn't matter, it's 2007. It's like, here's the problem. Normally, if you walk into any code enforcement hearing in Palm Beach County, or sort of this area, you're probably looking at somewhere between a 70 and a 90% reduction. Okay, that's kind of the norm. 80-ish. I think West Palm's like 20, 75, no higher. A lot of people will go 80 or 90. And if you're looking at a $900,000 lien and you're reducing it 90%, it's still 90 grand. And these are like, 400,000, 100,000. This is just massive, massive. And they're not going to go, oh, yeah, we'll drop it to 5 Gs. And I'm looking at this going, your poor neighbors.
Well,
Your poor neighbors have had to deal
sir,
with this since
excuse me,
2007.
Excuse me. I'm not getting upset, but I'm not a poor neighbor, because whatever happened prior to me moving there, I have no knowledge or recollection of that. Once I moved there, as you can see from the pictures that you have before in your file up until now, whatever was not compliant, I made sure that that property was top notch.
Right,
So
but you walk into a
I'm not gonna let
situation.
you call me a poor neighbor, because
No, I'm
I'm
not
a poor
saying
neighbor.
you're the poor neighbor. I'm saying the people who live next to you.
Okay.
The people who lived across the street from you. The people who lived down the street from you all had to deal with all this for a decade and a half. This isn't just like, oh, we had a car out front, or oh, they cut the grass, but they never said anything and it ran for a few years. I mean, I can look at that and go, ooh. Even if I reduce this down 95% from a $900,000 number, that's still $50,000. Their number is 100, right? 100 grand.
It's actually, yeah. I mean,
Maybe a little more.
yeah, we would. That's the standard reduction. We would be willing to reduce it further, but I don't know that even if we reduce it to 40,000.
95%, it's going to be still 50,000 or whatever it is. This is just, this is the biggest. This is the biggest one I have seen in 5 jurisdictions in a dozen years. The biggest one, period. And that's hard because it's just a normal house. You had to have so many over the years just to get to this number. You know? So.
Is there anything you can do to?
Do you have a contract on the property now?
We
we was waiting for this to come here and see what you guys
we don't want to put a buyer through something and cancel, and that's not, I think, a fair thing to do. But we have offers on the plate. I guess this hearing would dictate where we'd have to negotiate those offers to, or where we would have to manage the fees and get it done. And I'm the type of broker that I'll make it happen regardless of money to paying services for me. So my goal is to get it sold. I think it's for the benefit of Royal Palm Beach, and obviously to the benefit of the press in order to move on. But again, understanding the magnitude of this, but that's consideration we're asking for. So only you can consider.
The difficulty is if the magistrate rules tonight and reduces it to an amount that you can't pay, if you don't pay it within the time specified, the liens revert back to the original amounts, and you can never come back to the village for a second mitigation. So if $5,000 is your number, maybe tonight is not the night to be requesting the mitigation.
Yeah, I'm thinking more probably in the 25 range, at least. At least. I mean, this is just terrific, really.
Yeah, I mean, the one that, our standard request for the 07 case, our number would be 81,800. That's just one of the cases. So, I mean, even if it went down to 40,000, I mean, the village is not intending to be punitive, but the village also has had to deal with this property, and this is not a new buyer who says, I bought the problem and it wasn't us. This is the violators.
Who violated, yeah.
So again, we're not opposing reduction, but
See, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this and it's like,
The yard didn't stay 30 every week. The yard made us skip a month. It was never 30 every week. It was never messed up a whole year. It was never messed up.
structure built without a permit, parking in the rear of the yard, permits for repairs expired, disabled and unregistered vehicles. It's not just a yard thing. It's multiple things over a decade or so.
They don't be there. It's not there every day.
It's a problem for you're the okay. All right, so I don't want to be punitive either. I don't want to be the one who says, oh, well, let them foreclose. At least the bank will get out and reduce all these things to zero because they'll get it out in the foreclosure because their mortgage probably predates these things. That doesn't help anybody.
The number that you said would, if they can come up with that.
25. That's going to be my number, and I'll split it between these. And if you can work it out, that's fine. But you're looking at hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm reducing it more than I've reduced anything in my career doing this a decade or more. Okay, and that's and that I'm really reluctant to do because I can just imagine, Bobby Lane having to deal with all this stuff. Like, before you showed up in 2017, before you showed up in 2017, this was the mess that he created. You helped fix it, and you're doing great, but you kind of got right into this thing. So I'm going to bounce it down to the 25, and I'll split it between these some way to make it all kind of work. And we'll take it from there. But that's the best I can do. And that's way more than I should. I mean, way more.
We do need to go through them one by one. I'm
Oh,
sorry
I
to
know.
come
I'm
up with
going
the
to have
number.
to break this down into a level where I can actually do it. So, all right. So let's see. If I do 10 on the $400,000 one, and then 5 on the 102, and then 5 on the 75. That gets me to 20, and it leaves me 5 to split between the rest of them. Comes out to $1,000 each. Oh my God.
Hold on, we do need to make one adjustment because the 13 case is only 225.
What? 13 case is only 225. Oh,
Yes,
well,
so we can have 1,000.
Well, we'll just ignore that one
So
and
just
take the $1,000 out of something else.
So you'll.
I'm going to make the 8,900. No, the 12,000. All right. 1,500 and 15. I'm going to take the $12,000 one and make it 1,500, and the $8,900 one and make it 1,500. Does that work? The math out.
I don't know. I'm lost.
10, 20, 25, 28, 29, 30.
Let's just go, if we can go down the list. So 07 1990 is 10,000.
Yep. 09 14 20 is 1,500. 10 185 is 5,000.
16.5.
12 7 35 is 1,000. 12 21 92 is 5,000.
22.5.
Case number 13 380 is just denied.
Okay.
Case number 15 823 is 1,500. Hopefully the math works.
And there's another one below that too.
Oh.
So you have to reduce
Yeah, they
one
gotta-
by the 225.
No, I'm just leaving the 225 out. I've still got one left. All right, so we'll just. Okay, the two 1,500s. I'll just. All right, if I missed one, that's fine. The 20. Okay, we're going to do this over again.
We need a calculator.
07 is 10,000.
And can we get the date on the record by what's the
By whatever date you're saying. What's it? 410.
what date can you
What day
can
do
you
look
pay
at
them?
closing?
They're going to need time for that.
I mean, we probably need 60 days.
I'm going to give him till
90.
90. Let's give him 6/1.
That's it's even a little later. 5/8. Yeah, so 6/1. June 1 is fine.
6/1. All right, so.
So I'm sorry. So 07 1990 is 10,000 by 6/1.
Oh, let's stop here for a second. 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23. All right, so we have 10,000. Yeah, I hate math. All right.
I'll do that.
The 9 will make 2,000. 5, 10, 2, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. All right, let's try it this way. Not the 09 case, 2,000.
By 6/1.
The 10 case, 5,000. The 12, 17, 35, 1,000. The 12, 21, 92, 5,000. 13, 380, denied. 15, 08, 23, 1,000. 16, 220, 2202, 1,000. Does that come out to 25? Or adjust it anywhere you can, so I can be out of this loop.
25. That's correct. All those payable by June 1st. Is that correct, Special Magistrate? So that equals 25,225 because that one was denied.
Yeah. Okay. More than I've done in anything worst code ever that I've done in a dozen years. Okay. If it works, it works, and hopefully you get a couple bucks out of it. And if it doesn't, the bank will foreclose and it'll just go away. Either or. But the village has had all kinds of costs in dealing with this, and so have the residents. Okay. All those granted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
22, 12, 16, 109 Barcelona. Is that right?
Where is that?
Page 8 at the bottom. 109 Barcelona Drive, Sean Seegers and Latanya Steeble Seegers.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, the fine mitigation request. Exhibit 2, the orders assessing fine. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance. This also is Margaret's case.
Okay. All right, sir, tell us who you are.
Sean Seegers.
Okay, property owner. What is the amount of the fine?
$100.
Okay, you're going to ask for the fine to be reduced because?
Because when I filed, it was explained to me that I didn't have to do anything else and everything was in order. And
now you're doing words like it and explain to me. Who is it?
I
What
apologize.
did they explain? We have to be precise. I don't know it.
No, understood. I went to the office across the street and I filed for the permit. In filing for the permit, I paid for the permit, and then I asked the young lady who assisted me, was there anything else I needed to do, because I explained that I had a deadline by December 1st, if I'm not mistaken. It was explained that I didn't need to do anything else. I would be called to have it inspected because it registered, because I received an email saying that it was done. Then I received a letter saying that I was fined because the permit either wasn't cleared or didn't go through until, I believe it was the 6th or 7th of December. So then I called and I spoke to the supervisor. I believe her name is Linda. I could be wrong.
That's her.
Yes.
With a Y.
Yes. And I explained what I did, and it was explained to me that, well, normally it takes anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks for it to clear. So I was lucky that it cleared so fast. But because it wasn't in by the 1st, that was the fine that was assessed to me.
And what does the village want?
So this is one of those tricky ones because we still have additional costs. The lien was recorded, so we're gonna leave this one to you. It's a $100 fine. As you know, our additional costs over and above what we've spent to get here is more than $100.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
What'd you say?
I said the cost of doing all of this work to release the lien is going to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But that's okay, because it's part of the cost of doing business here.
That is true.
I'll reduce it to $50. That way everyone is going to eat something here. Yes?
But I've eaten the fact of paying for the permit to have the work done, which I was initially told that I didn't need it. And the last time I was here, I was a bit upset in explaining that. But I filed when I was able to pay. And it was explained to me in the office that I didn't need to do anything else. I'm sorry that the system that you guys have takes a little longer, but if it was explained
if you
to
would
me,
have applied a little earlier,
if I had the money to apply, I would have. But
that's your financial issue. Now, normally, I got to tell you, in these situations when these fines are under the $286 that is normally the cut the grass fine, I reduce it not at all. I let you walk out of there with no reduction whatsoever, because it's going to cost them $200 or $300 to release this $100 lien. So we can either do it $50 each off. You pay 50, they're going to eat 50, and they're going to end up losing a couple $100 on legal fees, or nothing. So, which would you like? Would you like the $50, or would you like the nothing?
I like to be treated fairly.
I'm trying to treat everyone fairly by saying, if you would have applied earlier, but you had financial issues, they're not the financial issues of the village. So I could easily justify saying no reduction whatsoever.
I have another request then.
Okay.
If you could please change your system and explain properly when people do that, your system takes several weeks for it to clear so other people won't fall into this.
I tell them every time I have one of these meetings that it takes 2 or 3 weeks for these permits to clear So they should apply as quickly as they can. And that's just part of normal for towns. If you go to Palm Beach County, there are people called expediters. And they are literally hired by builders and contractors to go run their permits through, because it takes months to get through their system. Not weeks, months. And all this is creating delays. So I'll reduce it to $50 payable by April 1st, or it goes back to the 100. Okay.
And I have another question.
Yes?
I applied for the permit and no one has called me to come and do the inspection.
No, you call them to do the inspection.
It should be printed on your permit.
They do not know psychically when your work is done. You have to call them to tell them when it's done.
Hence why when I filed the paperwork, it was explained that that's all I need to do and I would be notified when.
You will be notified when the permit was issued. You were notified when the permit was issued. The permit says you have to call for an inspection. You needed to call for the inspection.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do I need to get any more paperwork?
No, you'll get an order from us in a week.
So, but you won't, nothing tonight. You'll get an order in the mail. But on your permit, there should be a phone number to call to schedule that inspection. You'll have to be home for them to do it. I understand, but when they're helping you with the permit, at that point, they're probably entering, that's all you need to do for now. They are not answering all the different things that you may need to do in the future. They wouldn't even necessarily know all the different inspections that are required.
If that's the person that's assisting, could we possibly educate them on that so we could have less of this and maybe it'll save the village of Royal Palm?
Well, they're assisting you with permit intake. They're not privy to the Florida Building Code and all the different requirements in there. So you have inspectors that actually go to school to be first in the Florida Building Code. And there's licensing for review, there's licensing for inspection, and permit technicians are actually helping you get it into the system.
Okay.
We're moving back to page 4. This is a violation hearing. Second from the bottom, 22-1749, 257 Las Palmas Street, Mercedes R. and Roberto A. Cruz.
Okay.
This is a violation hearing. Code section is 2657, 14.2, 12.4C, and 6190A3. The description is sheds in the setback area without a permit, miscellaneous items and garbage can in public view, and driveway paint is faded. This violation was written on 10/26/2022. It was sent certified mail on 11/2/22, and it was then posted. Notice of hearing was sent 1/6/23, and it was signed for on 1/9/23. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation and affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. And Exhibit 5, AS400 permit printout.
Okay. Please tell us your name.
Allie Bennett,
Spell your last name, please.
Bennett.
Just like the auto parts store.
No relation.
Too bad. You would have some money there.
And what's your relation to the owner?
It's my parents.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Parents, okay.
Those documents I handed are the exhibits that we would like to enter into the record. Do you have any objection to those documents?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Did you already read this stuff in?
I'm sorry. No, she has everything in. She got it in.
Okay.
She didn't have any objection to the documents.
Okay. So we have a garbage can that's supposed to be behind that fence.
First, I want to apologize for arriving late. I was working and I was coming over from Boca.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Then you
I forgot.
I did
need
too.
to raise your right
Oh,
hand and say, I
I'm
do
sorry.
raise
You're
your
fine.
hand.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're late. You're late. Do you swear to tell
I
the
should have
truth?
known because I worked at the courthouse for some time, but not now. I'm
I would
sorry.
have had unsworn witnesses. It's all good. You swear
Okay.
that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the
Yes,
truth?
sir.
Yes, she does. Okay. Go
Um,
ahead.
Okay. I know a little bit about the 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 shed. My parents have lived there for going on 36 years, and my father replaced the existing shed that was there.
Oh, yeah, that was unpermitted.
Well, that I don't know because they bought the property back in like 87, 88, so we're going way back. And they have the original neighbors like Cindy Lynn Campbell and the across the street neighbor. They're the original. They've been next to them for years. So basically, it was in such bad condition that he was afraid a hurricane would affect it and maybe blow off and hurt or get to another property. So he replaced it, not knowing, I'm assuming, that he needed a permit. My father suffered a stroke. He's been in a rehab center for quite some time. My mother's 82 years old. She lives in the house, and I'm glad I'm by myself with you guys. She's alone in the house. She doesn't speak the language. I believe she's taking care of the garbage, the blue bin thing, because I guess Cindy Lynn, she works here in the fire department, and I knew her from when she was little, but the neighbor across the street speaks the language, and I guess she told my mom, so they've moved it to, I guess.
Behind the fence.
Right, they moved it to
That's
the back. Now, as far as the shed, I guess my dad didn't think there was anything wrong. He's not here to defend himself because he can't speak or move at the moment. But
Well, the unit didn't get sworn in, so we got to do that step
no,
first.
it's okay. So when she talks about other items, what items are there? Because I don't live in the property, so I'm trying to help my mom, and she doesn't drive, she doesn't speak the language. It's in a very difficult situation at the moment because my father was up and about up until he suffered the stroke a while back, and it's gonna be. We're just trying to help as much as we can.
All right, so do the other photo. I think that gives more detail.
This one?
There seems to be a bunch of stuff in front of the property there by the walls. Is that it? Well, decorations and plants are one thing.
It's a little metal painted wheelbarrow. That's a metal frame.
No, in this picture, she's. Yeah, but I don't think that's what she's referring to. In this picture, it's the driveway.
Oh,
And that's
Hold on.
yeah.
Let me, Doug, can I see that?
Sure. You can have the file. Yeah, never paint your driveway as a rule in Florida.
well, my father did that, so it's.
yeah,
Did you? I mean, I
the
don't
problem
know.
with the driveway is you can never get the paint off.
Oh, so
so you just have to
okay.
keep painting it and painting it and painting it
Those
and painting it.
They're little.
I had some
Do you know
poor
what?
woman who tried.
No,
acid,
no. Those are like
pressure cleaning,
step things to
And
walk
they're-
on.
all kinds of things.
They're stacked up.
Okay, so take them out of sight.
Yeah, or put them in the garage.
Or put them in the
something
garage.
Like that.
And then
And
the
then
driveway.
The driveway paint, and this has to be stored either behind the fence or in the garage.
Behind the fence or in the garage. Okay.
Now, you can keep this here and then get one of the little, they make them at like Home Depot or Lowe's. They're like little backwards L's, and they're made out of like, it's a screening material. It's made to hide garbage cans.
Oh, okay. So if
the
she wants to
top of the
keep it
garbage
there,
can- yeah.
because she walks with a walker.
Yeah.
So I mean, in her condition, I mean, I'm not trying to make up excuses. My mother was born in 1940, so
I just went down to see my mom. She's 90. She was born in 32.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just trying to help.
But she's ambulatory and painting her house. And you should see pictures of her. She looks better than me.
It's hard for her to walk in a lot.
So it's probably best to keep it in there, but if not, by just that little fencing, so the top portion of the garbage can will show, that's not a problem.
And then just remove these. And then, can I have some time to take care of, because she can't do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think by March, I mean, I'm just, she's on social
I saw it.
security.
Yeah,
My
I saw.
dad's in a
She
rehab.
was very young. Yeah.
It's been a, and my dad was up and about. This was like, boom, all of a sudden. Yes.
All right, stop. That, okay. Structures blow around in these things we have called hurricanes. And in order to make sure that these structures don't blow around in hurricanes, they need to be engineered and they need to be anchored. The problem with this one is its location. You're not allowed to have it in the side setback. If it was in the backyard, 20 feet away, it doesn't matter. It's always been illegal. Then you have to apply for a variance. The fact that he wanted a pool instead of a shed is a, well, the fact that he wanted to buy a pool house, that's his own choice. That doesn't mean that I can violate every ordinance in the town because I want a shed on the side and the fire department can't get, doesn't matter. It was never permitted. Your mother-in-law bought the problem.
Special Magistrate, we need to have one conversation on the record. And,
We're going to
and
swear
one
you in,
conversation.
wrong hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay. You are trying to argue about a structure that could never be permitted there without a variance. Never. That was, no, stop and listen. You are the one who wanted to talk. Now I'm going to tell you. If I were to look at that property as an attorney and a code enforcement person, I would say that shed's not permittable unless there's a variance. I would have trotted myself down to the code enforcement office, pulled the building file, and looked for the variance and the permit for the shed. There are so many unpermitted sheds in the village, it's not even funny. Most people don't even buy the sheds. They buy a property with an unpermitted shed. If you're not going to protect yourself by checking out to see if there's a permit or a variance, you bought the problem. It doesn't matter if it's there 50 years, 30 years, or 3 months. It's not permitted, and it's not going to be able to stay. What? They did exist 50 years ago. These side setbacks have been around since 1959. When I was born and the village was born, that's 63 years ago, these things existed. So you're about to kill any bit of sympathy I ever had for this case, but go ahead. Keep going. See?
Can you please speak into the microphone? Because this is recorded and it's televised.
And I have explained it.
Sir, please go over and speak into the microphone for the recording.
Stay there.
We have to have the recording record you.
Yeah, this is a public meeting, so if you want to go do stuff like this, that's fine. So, see, she was all doing great until you opened your mouth.
But I'm speaking the truth. I'm
I know,
telling you
you're
exactly
telling-
what's going on.
And I'm trying to explain to him why if you buy something illegal, it's still illegal. But he don't want to hear it.
No, I just asked the question of if you
And I
have something
explained
existing,
it-
why you got to get a permit to replace the existing same thing?
Because it was never permitted in the first place, but you refused to let that go through. If it was
Do
never
we know
permitted,
100% it was never permitted?
I can guarantee it was never permitted because it was in a setback. Yeah. Guaranteed. You want
And
to make
how
a
do you
bet?
file for a variance?
How do you file for a variance? You go to the village website where they have variance forms and you apply.
Okay.
But
So-
just understand that's a lengthy process, and you have
You'll
to
get
demonstrate a
fined during the whole
hardship.
process.
Right. It's not a
And
sure
and
thing
there's
by
not-
any stretch.
There's no guarantee. You know why they have side setbacks? So the fire department can get back to the back of your house.
The other side's open?
Doesn't matter. It's both sides need to be open. It's also allowed to put a camper on one side. So if you have a camper on one side, you have a shed on the other. Where do you go through? The camper or the shed? You're not helping. Believe me, you're
No.
not helping at all.
Well, then there's there's another house that's right across the street.
Throw your neighbor under the bus.
You damn right I will.
You're damn right.
Because
So
he's got a
you
Winnebago
have
sitting here
every right
that
to
is
go file
sitting
a
out front.
you have every right to go file a complaint against your neighbor. Go
Go
right ahead and do it.
They say you can't have anything sticking out past your house.
That's not true. If it's on pavement, he can.
So you can still stick out.
If
It
it's on
doesn't have to be
pavement,
behind your fence.
that's
It's on
correct.
pavement. Yeah, there are all kinds of rules.
We
here.
have a whole parking code. A boat's allowed to be on the driveway or it can be on the side of the house. If it's on a corner lot, the side that's on the corner must be on pavement. We have a big code on it, and I'll be happy to explain it to you.
Instruct for the fire department to get in on the side of the house.
That's one of the reasons. So it's illegal. You have an illegal shed. You want to make it worse? Keep going. Go away.
Okay, what you showed me, those stones, I'll make sure that somehow we remove those for her because there's no way my mom can do that. As far as the garbage, what we discussed, I'll see if I can take care of that. The driveway, I'm going to have to work on that because I get up at 4:15 in the morning. I start working at 6. And I came in late, and I do apologize for arriving late, but I had no other way. And my mother doesn't drive, so I'm going to have to, I guess once you paint, I don't know about painting the driveway. Once you paint, you have to keep painting.
Yeah, but don't paint over the sidewalk.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, she's just telling you.
I just want to make sure you know.
I had a lady come in here and she tried acid, 2 or 3 different kinds of acid. She tried paint removal. She tried pressure cleaning it off. There's only one way you're going to get that paint off. It's called sandblasting, and it's just not worth the time and energy.
No.
So once you paint these things,
You just have
you
to-
have to continually repaint them every few years.
Gotcha. Okay,
So you got to repaint that. That's not the problem, and that's just a roller in a
no,
good day.
right, but
But here's the big problem: is the shed.
right.
And
I
I'm gonna
think I
give
guess
you-
my father thought he was doing the right thing because he thought the other one was in more danger.
And he was doing the right thing, but it was the wrong place.
Oh, right.
So
what do I need to do to
you need
help?
to either get a variance, which is not going to be guaranteed,
And it's expensive.
and it's expensive,
And it
it's
takes
time
many,
consuming.
many months.
What is a variance anyway?
A variance is permission to do something in the violation of the code because you have a unique circumstance that allows it. Say you're the last house and there's a canal next to you and there's, blah, blah, blah. There's this unique, or the way
Or pie-shaped
you
lot.
have a pie-shaped
It has
lot.
something to do with
and
your
you
lot,
don't have
though,
enough
right.
room in the back or the way it's shaped, but you're next to the preserve.
And do I dare to ask how much a variance is?
Ask her.
I think it's like $1,500 to
Oh,
start
God.
plus mailing.
It's
And I don't
easier
think
for
your
you to move
lot,
it. Yeah.
I don't think your lot is unique in
No,
the fact that
no.
I think there's probably room on the lot for the shed somewhere else. And so they would deny it.
So
That's
here's
that's a mute point at this point.
Yeah.
so the thing you really need to do is
Yes.
probably get rid of the shed.
Or move it and
Or
get
move it
permitted.
to-
She was mentioning that it had to be moved more towards inside.
You have to be able to meet the setbacks. So your setbacks in that area is probably either 10 or 15 feet off the side property line. And I think 20 feet from the rear.
And if it's more than, that may be more than 8 feet tall, so maybe it's close.
So-
Well, it's
But they
almost the
step
same
in
height as the one he had before.
But that's still an
Right,
unpermitted shed.
I understand.
The
So-
accessory structure says that if the structure's over 8 feet in height, for every foot over 8 feet, it has to be an additional foot setback. So if it's 9 feet, instead of having a 10-foot side setback, you would have 11, and then the rear would go from 20 to 21 instead of 10 and 20.
I'm going to give you time to deal with all
It's
this
a little
stuff.
confusing.
Please, I beg you.
Now, normally they're looking for 330. I'm probably looking at more 430. You know,
Oh, yeah, we had bumped them out to 5.5 or 5.
5.5. Okay, so
5.10.
Because I mean, those little stepping stones, I'll take care of that.
no,
but
there's things you could do, but the painting's going to
the
take a while.
painting, I have to go find the paint. I don't even know what paint to do in a driveway.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, you just want to make sure, talk to somebody at the how-to stores and make sure that it's not slick when it's wet.
Yeah, you don't.
Right? Yeah, my mom walks in a walker, so that would be a nightmare if it
A
is.
lot of people, when they're doing these for pools and things, pool decks, they
Uh-huh.
actually spread a little sand on it.
Yeah.
And that keeps it from becoming slick.
They sell stuff to put in the paint. They'll help you.
There's gritty stuff that you put in there that makes it not slide.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
but you're big
Well,
5'5",
I'll take care
5
of
what?
that, and
5'5",
then
5'10".
10.
5'10".
How many feet from the fence back you said?
25.
Exactly sure, but it's more than likely.
What you're going to do is you're going to call this lovely lady, and she's going to help you out. All right? And yeah, and we're not trying to hurt you. It's just hubby there's not helping. Yeah. No, it's not a problem. Okay. All right, but you're going to call Linda, and she's going to look at your stuff, and see if there's anywhere it can be, and if it can't be, you may want to just consider removing the shed just to keep the problem, because you're looking at a $1,500 application fee, and probably you don't have a lot of grounds to keep it there anyway. Get a permit. A used shed won't be horrible. You won't. They'll figure it out. Well, you want the price to be when he did it because it's cheaper. Believe me. Yeah, no, we're talking about everything, but we wanted to get home sometime, so we. Yep. So, and I've got a whole pile of cases we have to go through. May 5th.
You'll get an order that has the dates in it, but yeah, May 5th or May 10th or $25 a day fine.
Okay. Fine assessment hearings. Are we going to run through these? Yes. No.
Yes.
Go on.
22-1283-908 Camellia Drive, Jennifer and Matthew Sparing.
These are for all these cases. Thank you.
Gotcha.
We would like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, permit information.
All right, affidavit of service. You have service. What would you like?
This has been out of compliance for 13 days, so a fine of $325 and continuing.
Granted.
Thank you.
22-1367, 720 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, Christopher De Leon.
We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right, you have an affidavit of service. What would you like?
Again, 13 days, so $325 and continuing.
68 Bala. Granted.
22-1532, 10130 Mikado Lane, Yamilka M. Fonseca and Roberto V. Quevedo.
We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, permit information.
325 plus continuing is granted.
Thank you. 22-1638, 1290 Forest Way, Pearl S. Voodoo.
Oh, and just, you had service via posting.
We would like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right, you have a signed green card for service. 325 plus continuing is granted.
Thank you.
22-1382, 127 Dove Circle, SWH 2017, 1 borrower LP.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, AS 400 permit information.
Signed green card equals service. Is this 325?
Yes, sir.
And it is granted. Plus continuing.
22-1400, 192 Bob White Road, IH6 Property, Florida LP.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, AS 400 permit information.
Signed green card equals service. 325 plus continuing is granted.
Thank you. 22-1471, 160 Dove Circle, Michael R. and Nina M. Martin.
I would like to enter the following documents into
Into
evidence.
evidence.
160 Dove.
Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
Signed, green card equals service.
Again, 13
Dirty,
days,
dirty.
325 and continuing.
Granted.
22-1475, 10553 Bobby Lane, Carmen B. Parisi.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right, there's a green card signed 1222. You have service 325 plus continuing. Is
Yes,
granted.
sir. Thank you. 22-1509, 212 Salcedo Street, Jake Foster.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, pictures.
COVID green card equals service. You can proceed. 325 plus continuing is granted.
Thank you, sir. 22-1567, 10638 Misty Lane, Eric Robinson.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, AS 400 permit information.
ER on the green card equals service.
Again, 13 days, 325.
Is granted.
21-0963, 980 Crestwood Boulevard, Lennar Homes, LLC.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, the previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, AS 400 permit information.
You have a USPS tracking confirmed, so you have service. What's the amount of this?
This one was 13 days, but at $50 a day, so
That's what I
$650
kinda
and
thought.
continuing.
So $650 and continuing?
Yes, sir.
Granted.
22-0036, 117 South State Road 7, M&L Realty Holdings, LLC.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, permit information.
Tracking confirmed gives you service. And what is this?
This one's 325 and continuing.
Granted.
22-0038, 117 South State Road 7, M&L Realty Holdings, LLC.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, AS 400 permit information.
Oh, they only held on to it for 2 years before they gave it to you. All right, you have a USPS tracking confirmed because that's what all these are, and you have 325 plus continuing is
Yes,
granted.
sir. Thank you. 22-0955, 10131 Southern Boulevard, JBL Village Shops, LLC, JBL Village Shops 2, LLC, and JBL Village Shops 3, LLC.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, permit information.
Tracking confirmed 650 plus continuing is granted.
Thank you, sir. 22-1743, 10719 Southern Boulevard, SST2 10719 Southern Boulevard, LLC, PTA EX number 8665.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, a picture. That one goes to him. He didn't get the picture.
That's okay. That's an old saying. I see the picture. I saw the picture earlier. I found that in one of your other files.
Oh,
I've seen that one. The holes, yeah, fine. Holes. Oh, we did a dock without a permit. Oh, potholes here.
This is potholes. This is again 13
325
days.
plus continuing.
325. Yep.
Yeah.
Violation hearings 22-1465, 2081 Reston Circle, Peggy Aceline.
Good work there.
Code section 716 and 721, dock without a permit. This violation was written on 8/26/22. It was sent certified in mail 9/1/22 and posted. Notice of hearing was mailed 12/30/22, and there's a message in there where Margaret spoke to the owner and informed them of the notice of hearing. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation and affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, AS 400 permit information. And I believe
Exhibit 6,
is an
affidavit of compliance, and I'm doing a finding of fact on this one.
Yes,
Granted.
sir. Thank you.
I wrote it down.
22-1545 is being pulled. 22-1809, 112 La Mancha Avenue, IH6 Property, Florida, LP.
The code section is 12.4C and 15.141. Code section 6/19835 is being removed. Garbage cans in public view and dead palm fronds.
This
Okay, so
violation.
sidewalk and driveway are out.
Yes.
Okay,
This
great.
violation was written on 11/16/22, sent certified mail 11/17/22, and received the green card signed on 12/6/22. Notice of hearing was mailed on 12/21/22 and returned on 12/23/22. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures. Do you have the pictures? No. Pictures.
I can see blue. Is that good? All right, is this 330-412 or
No,
something
this is a
else?
finding of fact.
Oh, finding of fact is granted.
22-1833, 10641 Aquarius Lane, Giselle and Kenneth Nunez.
The code section is 12. No, the code section is 12.4C, 14.4, and 14.2. I would like disabled vehicle miscellaneous items in public view and garbage can in public view. This violation was written on 12/1/22, sent certified mail on 12/2/22, and signed for on 12/5/22. Notice of hearing was mailed on 12/21/22 and signed for on 12/27/22. I would like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
Signed green card equals service. I like the door on the side of their wall.
And this one, Special Magistrate 14.4 and 12.4C, which is the disabled vehicle and the garbage cans in public view, are findings of fact.
Okay.
And then 14.2, we're asking for compliance by 3:30 or the 4:12 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
We got to draw lots of Venn diagrams. All right, so miscellaneous items is still on,
Yes, sir.
and that's 330-412?
Yes, sir.
Granted.
25. Yes, sir. 22-1834, 10620 Aquarius Lane, Lisa Shea.
Code section is 14.4. Disabled vehicle is the description. This violation was written on 12/1/22. It was sent certified mail on 12/2/22 and signed for on 12/16/22. Notice of hearing was mailed on 12/21/22 and it was signed for on 1/4/23. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
All that for Lisa, huh?
Yeah.
I went to school with Lisa Shea. Different one. Finding fact is granted.
Thank you.
She's real too snotty to live here, believe me.
1847, 138 Dove Circle, Progress Residential Borrower 1 LLC.
Code section is 2318B3. Description is parking on the front lawn. This violation was observed written on 12/6/22. It was sent certified mail 12/27/22 and signed for on 12/14/22. Notice of hearing was mailed on 12/9/22 and signed for on 1/6/23. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
They have different colored cars parking on the grass. It's very varied.
This one we're asking for compliance by February 23rd or appearance at the March 8th fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
All right, 223-3825.
Thank you.
Granted. Good.
22-1906, 132 Martin Circle, Liliana P. Rojas Acevedo and Italo Piscotti.
Code section is 9.1. Description, permit number 192517 has expired. This violation was written on 12/22/22 and sent certified mail 12/27/22, signed for on 12/29/22. Notice of hearing was mailed on 1/13/23 and signed for on 1/17/23. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, permanent.
Signed green card equals service 330-412-25 granted.
Thank you. 22-1702, 869 Hibiscus Drive, William D. Oles.
Code section 15-132-06-190, A1 and H, 1540, 14.4A. Planting areas are overgrown, broken windows, storm shutters are up, palms hanging over the sidewalk, disabled vehicle, and does not move every 30 days. The notice of violation was mailed out 11/2/22 and was posted. The notice of hearing was mailed out 1/4/23 and also posted. We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. And an affidavit of service. They were actually posted together. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 4, pictures.
Cool. Service via posting. I love the Mustang. I have a red Mustang. Mine at least runs.
This one we're asking for compliance by 223 or the 3/8 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
Sure. Granted.
Thank you. 22-1796, 10103 Penzance Lane, Dame Machado.
Code section 622-108.4, work done without a permit. Driveway using pavers in the front yard.
I like the
in the
driveway
front yard.
strips.
Observed the violation on 11/7/22. The notice of violation was mailed out 11/15/22 and was signed for on 11/19/22. The notice of hearing was sent out certified mail on 1/13/23 and was signed for on 1/6/23. We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
Side green card equals service. My mother grew up or had a house in Miami. This was state of the art in the 1960s. You would have two stripes and grass in the middle, and the oil would just go into the world. It was great.
My house had that. Yeah, my house had that.
Yep, everyone. It's like, yeah, this is the old drive. We don't. That's a waste of concrete.
Yeah. This one we're asking for compliance by 3:30 or 4:12 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
Yeah. Granted, I was looking forward to this one because I was like, driveway strips. That'll be at least fun.
22-1804, 111 Alcazar Street, Luke A. Stoddard. Sorry. Go ahead.
Code section 12-4C, garbage can in public view. I observed this on 11/15/22. The notice violation was mailed out 11/17/22 and was signed for on 11/29/22. The notice of hearing was sent out certified mail on 12/29/22 and was signed for on 2/3/23. Or I received it back 2/3/23. We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, pictures.
Okay.
It's a finding of fact, right?
Finding of fact. There's
Yeah, finding of
it's like
fact.
2 boats. I was like, oh, another 2 boats.
Oh.
Not a problem here. Finding of fact is granted.
Thank you.
22-1845, 777 Carissa Drive, and Anna E. Azuaje and Domingo R. Castillo Morelli.
Code section 2318B3B. Parking on the front lawn. I observed this on 12/6/22. The notice of violation was sent out certified mail on 12/7/22 and was signed for on 12/13/22. The notice of hearing was sent out certified mail 12/29/22, and I have actual service. We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
I'm just amused by the dormer on the roof. I didn't think we had any in the village.
Yeah.
That's just sort of weird. It's like someone living in the attic.
Hopefully not.
I mean, it's a dormer in an attic, not even in a second story like northern people's.
This
All
one's
right.
a finding of fact.
Finding of facts.
22-1927, 158 Queens Lane, Nicole Shinichi and Jesse Skinner.
Code section 622-105.5, permit 221131 is expired. This was written on 12/27/22. The notice of violation was sent out certified mail on 1/13/23 and was signed for on 1/23/23. The notice of hearing went out certified mail on 12/28/22 and was returned on 12/30/20. You know what? I think I have those backwards.
It says delivered, though. They wrote delivered
But
and
that's
delivered.
the notice of violation was 12/28.
And then 123 on the notice of hearing.
Right. Okay.
All right, back on track.
Yes. We would like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, permit information.
What would you like?
Compliance by 3:30 or the 4:12 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
Thank you.
22-1936, 1399 Ryan Lane, Douglas Durant.
Code section 622-105.5, permit 221296 is expired. This was written on 12/27/22. The notice of violation was sent out certified mail on 12/28/22 and was signed for on 1/5/23. The notice of hearing was sent out certified mail on 1/13/23, and I have actual service. We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, permit information.
Okay. What would you like? You have signed green cards and things, or at least return green cards and things, and actual certs.
This one again, compliance by 3:30 or 4:12 fine hearing or $25 day fine.
Granted.
Thank you.
22-1950, 1166 Chorus Way, Adriana P. Gallego, Geraldo.
Code Section 622-105.5, permit 22-1330 is expired. This was written on, this was written on 12/27/22. The notice of violation was sent out certified mail on 12/28/22 and was signed for on 12/31/22. The notice of hearing was sent out certified mail on 1/13/23 and was signed for on 1/14/23. We'd like to enter the following into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation. Exhibit 2, notice of hearing. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, permit information.
334-1225 is granted.
Thank you. 23-0048, 151 South State Road 7, L Car Wash RPB2 LLC.
Code Section 1557, 15141, and 15132. Description, grass and weeds overgrown, landscape not maintained, right of way is overgrown. I would like to, this violation was mailed certified mail on 1/23/23 with the notice of hearing. And it was, I got the green card back. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation and notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures.
Okay. That's to the abandoned BB&T Bank, I would assume.
Yep.
Yep. Granted, you got service. What would you like?
Compliance by 3:30 or the 4:12 fine hearing or $25 day fine.
Granted.
23-0049, 11468 Okeechobee Boulevard, Discount Auto Parts, Inc.
Code section is 1557. Description, grass and weeds are overgrown. I observed this violation on 1/23, and it was sent certified mail 1/23 with the notice of hearing. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation and notice of hearing with the USPS track and confirm. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures.
This is an advanced auto parts now, but I guess the title's still under discount.
Yes.
Okay.
This one we're
I like the specimen trees in the back. See, I've learned something in this meeting.
We're asking on this one for compliance by, bless you, 2/23 or the 3/8 fine hearing or $50 day fine.
Granted. I like
Thank
the little
you.
stifled sneeze. It sounds like my daughter. They don't sneeze like real.
Next one is a rescinding order finding
Granted.
violation hearing, 622-160620 Horicon Court, John M. Garrity. We're just asking for rescinding of your previous order finding violation.
It's granted. What would you
Thank
like?
you. Moving to,
Amended order, is that a different one?
no, she read the correct one. Next one are amended order hearings. Case 23-0005, 869 Hibiscus Drive, William D. Oles. This one at the previous hearing, there was an error with the case number, so we're asking for an amended order finding violation and permitting a village abatement. It had a 22 instead of a 23 in the case number, so we'll have that for you for correction.
Granted.
22-0849, 142 Meadowlark Drive, Alto Asset Company 1 LLC. We're asking for an amended order. Your previous order had a $325 and continuing fine. It complied the day before, so the fine should have been $300 and not continuing, so that's the order that you have before you.
Granted.
Thank you.
Famous last words. It's only a 9-page agenda.
Right? Nothing further for the magistrate.
Ms. Walker's like, oh, it's only a 9-page agenda.
Did you have minutes to sign? You do have minutes, okay.
We have minutes to sign. I'll sign some minutes.
Well, to be quite honest with you, prior to COVID, we were pulling 11 and 12 pages.
No, we're paying 13 and 14, and we were
Yeah,
rocking
so
it. So,
we
yeah,
were
not a
rocking
problem.
it. We got rusty. We're not.
Actually, I think we're probably one of the fastest moving
I know, but
boards in the world.
amount of time it's taken us to get through 9 pages is what we used to get through 12 and 13 pages.
But we had really good attendance in our 9 pages.
We do.
We did today,
And
yeah.
we have a lot more people showing up, I think.
Yeah. I think that's part of the fun, too.
Yeah.
Adjourn?
No,
Nothing
definitely.
else before the magistrate? Signed orders, 8:35, we're done. Wow.